You have found your political compass. The Owen Report with Owen Schroyer.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is Wednesday, August 12th, 2026. This is your home for political play-by-play, the fastest 3 hours on the internet. The Owen Report starts now. Wow. A lot to cover. A lot to cover and nothing to cover at all. We're going to talk about the election results, the primary results from last night. You might say some good news. There were some good signs. There were some bad signs. It doesn't look good for Republicans, but the Democrat Socialists take a big hit, take a big loss last night. Now there's some oddities that happened. Oh, go figure. Milwaukee is having election issues. Oh my gosh. What do you know? The largest county in Wisconsin can't even count votes. Oh, my. Oh, Lordy. So we're going to look at that. Mike Lindell takes a big loss. That's brutal. That's a gut punch for multiple reasons. So we may take a look at that. The big news that breaks right as we go on air, Karoline Leavitt out as the White House press secretary. Now, I don't know. I'm going to leave this one up to the chat today. I don't know if we can call that a Ruth. I mean, I've been talking about Karoline Leavitt leaving as press secretary for a couple months now, but I don't know if I can chalk that one up to a Ruth, as we say here, calling our shots. But she's out today. So Trump makes a statement on that. Now, I'm wondering, who knows if we'll ever get the behind the scenes of what led to Karoline Leavitt deciding she doesn't want to be the White House press secretary anymore. I do think it's significant that she didn't leave while she was pregnant. She didn't even leave right after she was pregnant. She decides to leave now. So why is that? Why would she leave now? Now, they'll probably try to claim it was out the baby. I don't buy that for 1 second. The baby's already been born. I think it was born a month ago or more. She was there as press secretary like the entire time she was pregnant. So I'm not going to buy that. If that's the excuse they try to go with, that it's because of the baby, I'm not buying it. Even though that's a legit excuse and really probably why she should have quit when she was about 7 months pregnant, but she didn't. So she quits now. So there's a couple things I want to look at that I think are leading to this decision. And it's exactly what I have been talking about for months now. The same reason why Jen Psaki left the Biden administration and the same reason why Karine Jean-Pierre can't get a job in network television. That's what I think is going on. And last night, Karoline Leavitt was on Fox News, and maybe the response wasn't so good. And maybe she saw the negativity now that working for Donald Trump is bringing into her life and her reputation, and maybe that was just enough. And probably a smart move for her. She's better off just being a mother, I'd say anyway, at this stage. She had a nice run. She can probably come back anytime she wants. She wants to have some more kids, go be a mom for a couple years. She could probably come back into the media now. I think she's probably getting out at the right time. Honestly, I'd say she's probably making a smart decision, getting out at the right time. Because, folks, this thing is coming apart at the seams in ways that you can't even believe. This administration is coming apart at the seams in ways you can't even believe. And now this ongoing trend of political pundits and commentators taking a break from politics, stepping away from their show. It seems there's a new one every week talking about this. We got another one today. Let me tell you what's going on quickly. It's a tough pill to swallow, especially if you've just gotten into political media, say, in the last 5 years, or if you just got into political commentary in the aftermath of Donald Trump getting elected. This is a tough pill to swallow. But here's the reality of the situation that they find hard to address. I think they're scared to address it head on. Maybe they can't fully accept it or understand it. But here's the deal, folks. It's over. Everything we worked for to get Trump in there, the whole MAGA agenda, the whole MAGA mandate, everything we worked for to get Trump in there and accomplish this, it's over, folks. It's all been sold off. It's all been sold off to the foreign lobby. It's all been sold off to the special interest. It's over. There is no MAGA anymore, guys. It's dead. It's over. It is now a zombie coming after us. Now, you can try to reason as to why Trump decided to do this, but it's over, guys. It's over. All this administration is about is whatever Israel wants in the Middle East and whatever enriches Trump and his friends. It's over. And it's so undeniable now, it's starting to get cartoonish. It's starting to get ridiculous. And I think maybe that's what leads to Karoline Leavitt's ouster. She's like, okay, this thing is so bad now. And now you're going to start hearing more stories about military morale. Get ready for that. They can't hide the realities of this economy forever. You've got more economic news today. And I understand. For some people out there, it's hard. It's hard. You don't want to believe that Trump betrayed us this badly. I understand that. You don't want to believe that everything MAGA stood for and had the mandate on with this administration, you don't want to admit that it's all been sold. You don't want to admit that it's over. I get it. Some of you are still too scared to go after Trump. Some of you are still too scared to criticize Trump, criticize the administration. Many people are still kind of looking around their shoulder like, do I really want to go after Republicans? Do I really want to go after conservatives? I don't know. That's a little scary. So they're just stepping away. They're just stepping away. And I get it. Believe me, I get it. We saw this coming. We saw this coming a mile away. And this is the difference. And I've been talking about this for a long time. With every election cycle, the media shifts. Every election cycle, the political media shifts. People rise, people fall, people completely disappear, people you've never heard of emerge. Every election cycle. Except, as I said, after the 2024 election, now it's like light speed. Now it's hyperspeed. And in fact, the normal developments that you would get after the midterms are all happening now. They're all happening before the midterms. And I totally get it. How can you be, let's say, a right-wing political commentator? You're an honest person. You're an honest observer. How can you be a right-wing political commentator and not tell the truth that this administration is a disaster and that Trump has gone from the hero to the con man? So instead, they don't want to play that game. They don't want to go down that road. They're afraid it might anger their audience. They're afraid it might lose them access to different political events, exclusives, what have you. And they just decide, I'm just out. I'm just out. And if this translates to the attitude before the midterms, if this translates to the midterms, it's not good for Republicans. It's not good. They're just not going to show up. People are just not going to show up to vote. So we'll review that. We got economic news. We got a little bit of geopolitical news. I don't have too heavy of a news desk today. We do have some very interesting stories that you're probably not hearing anywhere else. So we will deliver the news. I would like to take a lot of phone calls today, is what I would like to do. We may even stress test some of the tech issues that StreamYard has been having, because I was told that they are supposed to have them taken care of today. I'm not so sure, but maybe we'll put that to the test and see if we can't find out for ourselves whether or not they have figured this out. But I think that really we've reached this point. In fact, last night, I don't know if you guys saw this, but I've got it in the stack today. Trump is going to be cutting, well, he's considering cutting capital gains tax. And it's so obvious what that's about. It's so ridiculously obvious what cutting the capital gains tax is all about. It's another slap in your face. It's another gift to Trump's donors, friends, and family. So I got into it last night, and MAGA, guys, the MAGA, whoever is still left clinging to this deal, they're so, I don't even know what to call it. Now they're defending taxes. And they're all looking at me just because I'm kind of the one that's barnstorming through this MAGA cult. I'm kind of the one that decided, all right, I'm just going to charge through you people, screw you. And it would make sense for it to be me, you know, considering all the price that I've paid supporting Trump. I guess it makes sense for me. And then it hurts them the most because I've got a chest full of accolades here in true MAGA. And they're all like, you know, privates fresh out of boot camp. And they're crashing out so hard that they're now defending taxes. Because I called Trump out last night for this capital gains tax cut that he's considering, which is all about his friends and family. That's it. They're the only ones that will benefit from this. And now they're out defending it and defending taxes. This is how desperate the MAGA cult has got, guys. They're defending taxes today. Wow. And they don't even see how they're proving my point. They're like, Owen, don't you know? Only the rich pay these federal taxes. Only the rich people pay capital gains tax. Yeah, you just proved my point. Trump's giving a tax cut to his friends and family. And then people are like, well, if you have money in the stock market, you know, if you do well in the stock market, this is going to save you too. Oh yeah. And people are sending, they're sending on X, they're replying to me and they're sending their stock market portfolio. They got a couple $1,000s in the stock market. They're like, look, Owen, I've got $10,000 in the stock market. This is going to be great for me. Capital gains tax. Wow, bro. Wow, dude. You mean you're going to get a tax break on like $200? You're winning, aren't you, bro? Hey, Trump and his friends and family have millions of dollars in the stock market, you chump, you clown. You do well in the stock market with 10 grand, good for you. Great for you even. I hope you do great, and I hope you benefit from the tax cuts. But you're a clown if you think this has anything to do with you. Look, Owen, I've got 10 grand in the stock market. Look, I'm getting 10% in the stock. Oh, wow, bro. You made $1,000? Oh, you're gonna get a capital gains tax cut on $1,000? Congratulations. They're gonna get a tax cut on $1 million. Okay? It ain't for you. It ain't about you. He's not even thinking about you. He's so beyond you. He's so broke up with you. It's unbelievable that you guys are still clinging to this. All right. So all of that and more coming up on today's Owen Report. Brought to you by our friends at Allegiance Gold. We got a lot of economic news today. And because of this news, you might be thinking, is it time to get into precious metals? Is it time to get money out of the bank? Is it time to get money out of the stock market? Is it time to diversify? Is it time to get into silver and gold? If it's time for you, it's time to reach out to my friends at Allegiance Gold. Two ways to find them. You can give them a call, 844-790-9191, 844-790-9191, or go to protectwithowen.com. But if you give them a call, while you have them on the line, ask them about $5,000 in free gold and silver with qualified investments. You heard that right. You call Allegiance Gold. You're talking about, do I want to get into precious metals? Do I want to get into gold, 401k, IRA savings? How do we want to do this? You got them on the phone. Don't forget to ask about $5,000 in free gold and silver with qualified investments. Now, there's one thing you need when you're talking about your finances, when you're talking about your wealth. Whoever it is you're doing business with, they better have an A+ review with the Better Business Bureau. Allegiance Gold does. Nearly 10,000 clients nationwide. A-plus review with the Better Business Bureau. You got to have it. When you're dealing with your wealth, you need that A-plus review. Allegiance Gold has it. So give them a call, 844-790-9191, or go to protectwithowen.com. Protectwithowen.com. Protect your wealth and your freedom, because no one else will.
On the cutting edge of news and analysis, the Owen Report with Owen Schroyer.
No, it is Groundhog Day today. There was a report that came out last night how traffic in the Strait of Hormuz is back down to almost zero. Now, whether you believe it or not, I don't know. I mean, pick and choose what you want to believe these days. But the report was that the Strait of Hormuz is essentially closed again. It's basically closed. So, of course, Trump goes out and says that the strait is open and that he has full control of it. And so it's Groundhog's Day. It's Groundhog's Day. The strait is open. The strait is closed. Trump has control. Trump's won the war. It isn't a war. The war's already been won. On and on and on. So Boomer the Groundhog is with us here today. You know, I give the Boomers a hard time here, but I was defending the Boomers last night. I did it was almost 2.5 hours. I don't know what the final time is going to be. Brandon Strock and I did about 2.5 hours last night. It was a great talk. And, you know, it was like when we finished it up, because, Brandon and I just get along, but whenever we do these media hits, it's always like in a very professional, like interview type of a thing. And we were able to kind of loosen up here and just kind of talk. And I was like, we need to do more of that. This is like classic talk radio stuff here. It's not like interviewer, interviewee, just talking politics, talking whatever, culture. I think we need to start introducing more of that. It's not about quitting. It's not about giving up on political commentary just because things are clown world right now. It's about tapping into that. And if people are sick of the politics, then find other ways to keep people engaged, keep people informed. But I digress. Point is, I was defending the Boomers last night, so I just want our Boomer friends to know I was defending you last night, just so you know, for whatever it's worth. All right, so give me a little love today. A lot of love in the air here. So Karoline Leavitt is out, okay, and I guess if this is news that Trump is breaking, to me, that's bad. To me, that's bad. That means that Trump is not happy about this, or something happened and he feels he has to get out ahead of this and do narrative control. That's kind of my interpretation when I see Trump breaking the news here. Trump says Karoline Leavitt resigning as White House press secretary. And, the excuse is obviously she's a new mother. She wants to spend time with her family. So Trump says so she can spend more time with her beautiful young children and family, a decision I totally understand and respect. And Trump says that she will remain on as one of his top outside advisors and work with the Republican Party to win upcoming midterm elections this November. So that's kind of a grease job. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, don't say anything bad about us. You know what I mean? Don't say anything negative about Trump. Don't tell anybody how things really go behind the scenes. Don't tell anybody about the disaster this administration is. We'll keep you on as an advisor. We'll give you a role in the Republican Party. Hey, we'll grease you. Just keep things good here. We don't want this to get nasty. So they're gonna grease Leavitt. She's gonna go away, probably go quiet. You know what? I say good for her. I think this is a total win for Karoline Leavitt, actually. Brilliant move. She's probably saved her career, and now she's going to get paid to do nothing. And now she gets to be a mother. She gets to spend time with her kid. So this is a total win for Karoline Leavitt. Total win. Total win for her. Congratulations for her. And now she might be able to have a career in the media in a couple years when Trump is out of office. If she would have stuck around, she wouldn't have had that opportunity. It's the Jen Psaki, Karine Jean-Pierre phenomenon. It's the same thing. Why did Jen Psaki leave the Biden administration? Because she realized the longer she sticks around, the longer or the harder it becomes for her to win back a reputation. The longer she sticks around in the Biden administration, the more people look at her as corrupt, as a liar, etc. She won't get a job in network news. Jen Psaki quits. She gets the job in network news. Karine Jean-Pierre stays on, finishes the term. She can't get a job on network news. And she's begging, by the way. Karine Jean-Pierre has tried different hairstyles. She's tried different wigs. She's tried different makeup. I wouldn't be surprised if other offers have been made. And she can't land a gig. They even put her on for tryouts. And she can't land a gig because nobody trusts the Biden White House press secretary. And this is a black immigrant lesbian, and she can't even get a job at a left-wing news network, guys. That's what a disaster your reputation becomes when you stick around for a corrupt administration. I think there's a little bit of that going on with Leavitt. So I'm not buying it. I'm not buying that this was a decision she just decided to make recently. She was pregnant. She stayed on. She had the baby. She stayed on. So there's months of her being pregnant and already having a kid. Almost a year this has been going on. And she already has a kid. So I just don't buy the excuse. Now, I think, if I'm getting conspiratorial here, she was on Fox News last night. You may have seen this. Looking very bubbly. She was very bubbly. Looks like maybe even she got some fresh face injections. Fox News viewers slam Karoline Leavitt's claim that Trump's economy is more affordable. So imagine this. And I don't know if we can even properly appreciate how isolated the White House is. And maybe this was Karoline Leavitt's removal from that isolation. Maybe this was a crack in the wall, and she finally was able to see through it, and she realized how unpopular Trump is. I think there's a lot of this mystique that still exists in the White House where they still think Trump is the hero. They still think Trump is, adored by his voters. They still think MAGA is cool and popular and hot. None of it's happening. But they're so isolated in the White House. They're so isolated in the administration. They don't realize this yet. So Leavitt goes on Fox News, smiling, bubbly the whole time. And then all of a sudden the next day she's out? No, I think Leavitt saw the responses. I think Leavitt saw, maybe she knows, maybe she doesn't. But imagine you go on network news and you say the economy's doing great. Right then and there, everybody looks at you like you're a liar. Right then and there, everybody looks at you like you're a propagandist. So maybe for the first time, she's getting this. She's getting this signal. She's getting the incoming. She doesn't like it. She doesn't want to be viewed as a liar. She doesn't want to be viewed as a propagandist. She'd like to have a career in political media and be trusted by wherever she lands, their audience. And now, after that hit she does on Fox News, she realizes, if I stick around this administration, it's over. Nobody will trust me. If I have to continue to lie for Donald Trump, it's over. I'll never get this job. Brilliant work here, I say, by Karoline Leavitt. I'm not buying the official narrative. I think she realized which way the trend is going here. And she's such a genius. I give her total credit. This is a total win. She gets to keep getting paid, but she doesn't have to work. She gets to leave the administration right before this whole thing is about to fall out. And everybody's going to have to be admitting soon what a disaster this administration is, even the bitter clingers to this point. And then maybe when it's all said and done, she gets to spend time with her family too. Isn't that the best? She gets to spend time with her kids, her family. That's the best part of it for her. And then whenever she's ready to come back after Trump's out of the White House, she probably can. Genius move for her. By the way, I think Trump is thinking about running again. I think Trump is actually thinking about running again, or maybe just not leaving at this point. But we'll get to that later. This is what he said last night to the media. He wants to run. Everybody wants him to run. This is what Trump says. He says, everybody wants me to run, but the laws are tough. The laws are strong. Yeah. Yeah, well, you might be learning about some of those strong, hard laws pretty soon. Okay, so there's a phenomenon going on. I want to explain this, and maybe this is Karoline Leavitt too. Maybe this weighs into the Karoline Leavitt thing. So Brett Cooper, former it girl for the Daily Wire, she's done with politics. In fact, hey guys, let's do this, guys. I'm going to do a quick audio test. I'm sorry to do this live. I'm just going to do this live because StreamYard claims that they have fixed their audio issues. Guys, I'm going to play this video. Let's see what happens if I play this. Let me know in the chat. Hey, DMT, audio check. Let me see what happens here.
So I sometimes have people ask me, like, why I don't talk about politics as much anymore, or why I started to feel burned out, or whatever it is. And it's because I started to feel freaking crazy because of things like this. So this was Dan Crenshaw in 2021 under Biden. America, our food prices are too high. What are you going to do about inflation? Biden admin, just be vegan and stop complaining, you bunch of rubes. But then now, 5 years later in 2026, in light of the grocery $20 burrito affordability debate over on X right now, this is what he posts. Same guy. He says, just hearing about this dumb $20 burrito debate, so I thought I'd just make the losers on social media angry before going to bed. Stop whining and get a job. Eat ramen like the rest of us did in college, on a budget with 4 roommates. The market doesn't care what you think something should cost. Only communists care. They set prices, remember? Then everyone starves, remember? Are you a communist, or are you an American adult male capable of handling his own shit? You know what, Dan? This sounds a lot like just be vegan and shut up. Just eat ramen and shut up. Eat your slop bowl and shut up.
Slop? She said slop?
I mean, it is so, like, it genuinely makes you feel like you are going crazy. Both sides are hypocritical. Both sides just...
Let me address that. I think we get the point here. So much, there's been such an adjustment as far as political media consumption is concerned. And people now are kind of in this system of believing that Fox News can be trusted. They're in a system of believing that Republicans are better than Democrats. Republicans care about the country. They're in a system of believing that Trump is the good guy, the hero. And so they're kind of trapped in this system. And now that it's all falling apart, now that the system is delivering the opposite of all of these things, they feel like they're going crazy. Because you got the MAGA cultists over here keep trying to prop it up. And you've got Trump and his administration keep trying to prop it up. And then you've got, people like me who try to tell the truth that are under the most attack. And so they're just sitting there observing this and they're like, well, this is nuts. What the hell is going on? Am I going crazy? Guys, look. Or I'll address Brett here just for the sake of this segment. Brett, you're not going crazy. The world has gone crazy. This administration has gone crazy. MAGA, Trump supporters have gone crazy. You're actually sane. You actually have a sane mind and a balanced ability to consume and report on political news. That's why you feel like you're going crazy, because you can't believe how bad this administration is. You can't believe what a traitorous turn this whole thing has taken in the last year and a half. And then maybe you're even more shocked watching the MAGA cultists, as you point out there with your Dan Crenshaw post, which is not the best example, but she goes after Crenshaw because that's fair to do on the right. And you're just shocked. You're like, since when does MAGA like high gas prices? Since when does MAGA like a new war in the Middle East? Yeah, you haven't gone crazy, Brett. You're actually sane. You actually have a sane, sound mind. Everyone else has gone crazy. Now, if you want to step away from politics, that's your own prerogative. But that's the realization. All of these people that really believed in Trump, all of these people that really thought MAGA was going to deliver all these things, none of them are happening, and they feel like they're going crazy because there's this weird feedback loop from D.C. There's this weird feedback loop from MAGA saying, oh, we're winning. Oh, golden age, best economy ever. And it's just like, wait a second, none of this is true. What is going on? It's time for you to accept the reality. Trump betrayed us, and everything this administration is doing is for Israel and his donor class, his rich billionaire friends and family. That's it. And once you accept that reality, and once you understand that that is the reality, everything else makes sense. But until you accept that, nothing will make sense. If you still think Trump is some patriotic American hero here to save the country, nothing will make sense. If you still think Republicans are that much better than Democrats when it comes to policy and results, nothing will make sense. If you still think MAGA has some sort of serious movement or momentum here in Washington, D.C. to save the country, then nothing will make sense. But if you understand, oh, all of this has been flipped over to a 180, then now everything makes sense. You're back to the neocon years. You're back to the Bush years. You're back to liars throughout the media, throughout D.C., throughout the administration. Then everything makes sense. And I'm telling you guys, it's going to get, you can already see it. You can already see it, guys. It's getting bad. It is getting bad. They're not going to be able to keep this thing together much longer. I got to tell you, I don't see it happening. And I wonder when the Democrats are going to start taking advantage of this, because they haven't even tapped into this yet. And maybe the Democrats got their own issues right now when it comes to how are we going to deal with the socialists. And maybe the Democrats are still a little hesitant because running on the hate Trump stuff didn't really work in the past. But once the Democrats decide to seize on this opening, once the Democrats decide that the cracks in MAGA, they're going to start taking a sledgehammer to them, this thing is going to just collapse. Now, maybe they're waiting to see what happens with the midterms, because if they can do that with the House and with the Senate, now all of a sudden it's like a shark. Now you have a shark that can swim around and bite you. Without Congress, it's kind of just like a chihuahua, yipping at your heels. But I'm telling you, this whole thing is coming apart, guys. It's coming unglued. I think Karoline Leavitt is another symptom of it. And get ready till this stuff starts getting more attention. I also feel this inevitably is going to start getting more attention soon. USS Abraham Lincoln sailors tried to jump overboard amid extended deployment. Aircraft carrier's crew in 9th month at sea and has spent a record 250 days consecutively without making land. So this is not normal. This is usually, it's like 8 months is the longest you'll be out at sea, or like a deployment on a carrier ship like that. They've been out there for 9 months. They have no idea when they're going to be done. And I also think, too, I have to say, guys, I also think that they are starting to realize none of this is for them. None of this is for America. I think now how that affects them, I don't know. They might just view it as a job, and, whatever they're told to do, they'll do. So maybe that weighs on them, maybe it doesn't. But I do think they've realized it. I think the majority, specifically younger Americans that are serving in the military, specifically the ones right now deployed in this Iran war, I think they know that they're there for Israel's interest. I do. I think it's the buzz around these ships. I think it's the buzz around these bases. I think when they talk about the 18 dead soldiers, that's the number they give us. Who knows what the real number is? But I think when they talk about the dead soldiers, they look at that, they say they died for Israel. They died for the Israeli lobby. Trump sold us out. I think morale issues are a lot worse than we're being led on. And all Hegseth and Trump do is they run around talking about recruitment numbers. That was all based on a lie. You guys lied to the new recruits. That's what you did. Trump said no new wars. Trump said we're not going to do the never-ending wars, the forever wars, specifically in the Middle East. He campaigned on that. Multiple election cycles. You lied to them. I guarantee you, it's probably not the majority. I don't know. Somebody that understands military deployment better than I would be able to address this with more accuracy. I would guess it's not the majority of them, But I'm guessing it's a pretty strong minority of the Americans deployed in this Iran war that joined because they thought Trump would keep them out of the Middle East. They thought Trump would stop the forever wars. And now here they are fighting Iran. Now here they are hearing about bases getting blown up. Here they are hearing about Americans dying over there. And now many of them, they can't even get off what would be a standard time of 8 months as a sailor in the Navy, and they're trying to jump ship, literally. They're trying to jump ship. This thing is not going away. I have a feeling very soon, you never know, guys, when you have midterms coming up, you never know when you have elections coming up, what type of October surprises that they may have up their sleeve. I don't think this story is going anywhere. I think this story is just starting to crack. I think the issue with military morale is going to become a major issue before the midterms. And I wonder if somebody might not get some sort of an exclusive about how there's been way more than 18 deaths. And maybe that leads to some story about how the Trump administration is intentionally cooking the books. Of course, there's already been one of those stories. Yeah. I don't think this deal's going away, guys. But of course, Trump today, he's winning, guys. He's winning, and he controls the strait, is what he says.
I don't trust Iran. Why? Are you saying I trust Iran? I'm the last person to trust Iran. They've lied to me constantly. We have total control over the Hormuz Strait right now. They don't have control. We have total control. We own it. And at some point, maybe they'll do something and then they get blown away. But right now, we're in a very good position. We have a country that has been the bully of the Middle East for 50 years. It's really 51 if you think about it, right? We've been saying 47.
This is an unreal lie. This guy is such a liar, man. It's sickening. You know what? You want to know what I heard? You want to know what I just heard? We have no control over the strait, and we anticipate there's going to be a big attack and a deadly attack on one of our bases or ships very soon. And after that, we'll actually start a real war and, start bombing them relentlessly. That's what I heard. That's my translation from the Trump lie. They have no control over the strait, and now they're just waiting for Iran to engage in some mass casualty attack on a base or a ship so that they get the excuse to go in there and just wipe out the entire country. That's what I hear. That's my translation. But you know what's so sad? It's the same old thing, guys. You know, we're supposed to be here with, what do we got, like 80 days till the midterms? And we're supposed to be talking about the victories. We're supposed to be talking about how great the economy is doing. Gas back under $3 a gallon. Grocery prices down, out of the Middle East, done with these wars, troops coming home. I mean, we're supposed to be talking mass deportations, all the good stuff that should be happening right now. All the good stuff that should be reaching a point of a conclusion to sell the Americans, hey, vote for us in the midterms. Look at all the results we have delivered with Trump in the White House and the Republicans controlling the Senate and the House. Look at this. Look at all these deliverables we have for you. Let's do this for another 2 years. And they have nothing. They have stopped talking about the Epstein files. They're in violation of the law, covering up the Epstein files. Trump is out here doing interviews every day talking about Iran, talking about the Strait of Hormuz, talking about new wars. He's having to welcome dead soldiers home from this war that he was never supposed to start. And this is what we're talking about ahead of the midterms. It's not good. Now look at the economic news. Guys, U.S. July deficit tops $432 billion as outlays grow and tariffs stay negative. This is one of the worst months ever. It is the worst month for the month of July. The U.S. federal budget deficit for July jumped to $432 billion, a record for any July, as higher outlays and more negative tariff revenues also brought the 2026 fiscal year-to-date budget gap to $1.8 trillion, topping the full fiscal 2025 deficit with 2 months left in the fiscal year, the Treasury said on Wednesday. And that number is going to get worse, by the way. I will tell you right now that number is going to get worse. The tariffs have failed miserably, guys. I got bad news. They have failed miserably. And the war has as well. The budget gap for July, which was partly inflated by calendar shifts and benefit payments, was $141 billion, or 48% higher than the previous July, and was the largest monthly deficit since March 2021, when it hit $660 billion due to COVID-19 relief programs. All right, it goes on and on. You get the point. You know, Trump was supposed to fix at least the deficit. He promised he would reverse the deficit and have us on the right side of the margin, and that would lead to us cutting into the debt. And this was mostly the focus and the purpose of DOGE, which, of course, they ended early and then kicked Musk out of the White House because he thought they were going to be serious about this stuff. They lied. Musk kind of figured out they're all a bunch of liars first, didn't he? And he said, Trump's in the Epstein files. Get ready for it. And maybe since they've, fixed whatever issues, at least for the time being, guys, there's nothing. This is a disaster. The Trump economy is going to go down as one of the worst of all time at this rate. Trump did permanent damage to the economy when he shut the country down on Fauci's. Actually, it was against Fauci. Fauci claims, and there's actually some documents that prove it, but it doesn't matter. It happened as Trump was president. Trump did permanent damage to the economy when he locked it down during COVID. And now the damage he's doing with this administration is just making it 10 times worse. And they just think they can go out there and say golden age, and you'll just, lick out of the trough, lick out of the bowl like a good sheep. And many MAGA people do, but it ain't working. And the numbers don't lie. 12.9% of credit card balances in the United States are now 90-plus days delinquent. That is the highest since 2011. 10.6% of student loan balances are now 90-plus days delinquent, the highest since 2020. 5.5% of auto loan balances are 90-plus days delinquent, just off the highest level on record. There's your golden age, folks. Nobody can afford things. So what's the answer? Well, you let Americans keep their money. You start cutting taxes. So Trump is thinking about cutting taxes. Not for you, though. Not for you. Trump wants to announce before the midterms, or have a policy before the midterms, to cut capital gains tax. Now, I say cut them all, cut all taxes. But why would Trump be focusing on capital gains tax specifically? Trump weighs another giveaway to the wealthy with capital gains indexing ahead of midterms. Richest to profit in Trump's capital gain tax idea for midterms. So here's the situation. The Trump family made a ton of money in crypto. Now, apparently the Trump media group, I guess this is what owns Truth Social, apparently that's hemorrhaging cash. But the problem is the Trump family and the capital gains that they've made in crypto and the stock market and everything else, that's basically going to nullify most of their gains this year. So Trump is going to cut the capital gains so that his family doesn't have to pay tax on all the money they've made, all the billions they've made since he's been president. Let's just say it like this. If the Biden family was doing this, every single member of the right-wing media, every single person that's worn a Trump hat in the last 6 months that still considers themselves MAGA, every single elected Republican would be screaming. They would be shouting. They would be racing in front of a camera, in front of a microphone, in front of a podium in the Capitol, talking about how corrupt Biden is, talking about Biden's pay for play, and he's cutting capital gains for his family that's made a bunch of money on crypto, a bunch of money in the stock market. Trump goes up there and brags how much money he's made in the stock market. Well, guess what? That's where capital gains tax comes in. So he's going to cut it so he and his family don't have to pay taxes. And these MAGA chumps, they're chumps. And now they're so deep into this brainwashing cult that they're out here defending taxes. And so I called this out last night because it's so obvious what Trump is doing. This is a tax cut for him and his friends. That's all it is. So it's very clear what Trump is doing here. He's trying to get a tax cut for him and his friends so that they don't have to pay taxes on the billions of dollars they're making with him as president. It's that simple. It's so obvious. So I called this out last night, and I've got all of these. I don't even know if they're MAGA. I don't even know what they are at this point. But it's like Vince Dow and Phil Labonte. It's like whatever. Hopefully we could get along if we met in person. But now they're out here defending taxes, and they're like trying to explain the tax bracket and all this stuff. I'm like, what are you guys doing? They say, don't you know only the rich pay these taxes, Owen? Gosh, you're so dumb, Owen. Don't you know only the rich pay these taxes? I'm like, you just proved my point. This is a tax cut for Trump and his friends and family. That's what I'm saying. Owen, you're so dumb. This is the rich pay the federal taxes. What's wrong with you? That's my point. Guys, these people are so gone. It's crazy. And I saw Phil in his response to me, because I was going to respond to him, and I was like, it's not even worth it anymore. I don't even bother responding to these people anymore. And I go look at the replies, and everybody's like, what happened to you? What's wrong with you? What are you talking about? Why are you defending this guy? I don't know, guys. I have no idea. It was so obvious when Trump did it. And now they're defending it. And this guy, and these people start sending me, these MAGA cultists, they're now sharing their stock portfolios. Like, wow, you guys are seriously desperate. So they send me their stock portfolios. And it's like, okay, they got a couple $1,000, like 10, 20,000 bucks in the stock market. Hey, good for you. You got a nice chunk of change in the stock market. Hopefully you're getting some good returns. You're making some good trades. I'm rooting for you, hoping you're making a lot of money. But let me tell you something, bud. If you do good, let's say you've got $20,000 that you're playing with in the stock market. If you're doing good, you're getting 10%. If you're doing great, you're getting 20% or above. And most people are not doing great, but you can do good. Okay? So if you do good with $20,000 in the stock market, you're getting about a $2,000 return. And so they're looking at this, they're like, look, man, I made $2,000 in the stock market. Trump's cutting my taxes. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Trump and his friends are making $2 million on the stock market, bro. You think this is a tax cut for you? Are you out of your freaking mind? So what? So this is going to save you $200? It's going to save Trump and his family hundreds of thousands of dollars. They're going to be able to buy yachts and mansions and islands with the money they're going to save from this tax cut. You might be able to put a mortgage payment down. I say this with peace and love. You guys are embarrassing yourselves, honestly. You're embarrassing yourself. So you want to come after me, I'm embarrassing myself, whatever. I got a mustache, I got a hairdo. It's like, fine, hey, relentlessly roast me for my appearance. I have no problem with that. You guys are embarrassing yourselves shilling for a politician. You guys are embarrassing yourselves defending politicians that are selling you out. You're embarrassing yourselves sitting here standing up for the haves versus have-nots. You're a have-not, by the way, and you're sitting here supporting the haves. You have no idea what is coming, guys. You have no idea. I say this with peace and love. Get off the train, guys, for your own benefit, for your own sake. Get off the train. Do not go down with this ship. Now, you don't want to put Democrats in power. You still think Democrats are worse. That's fine. I'm not even talking about political decisions. You guys defending Trump at every turn, you guys defending Trump with every story, every headline, every lie, everything. You guys are embarrassing yourselves. Stop it. Find your balls. Find your spines. Find your fortitude. I'm in support of you. I'm trying to help you. Get your head out of Trump's ass. Look around. Nothing is happening that he said would happen. None of it. And you're out here celebrating a tax cut that's not even going to benefit you. In fact, you're paying more in taxes. Who do you think paid for the tariffs? You did. And Trump's giving a tax cut to his friends and family, and you're out here defending it? What happened to you? When did you guys become such cucks? Is your head stuck up Donald Trump's ass? You can't even get it out? Do you need help? Do we need to get some lube or something to try to slide you out of there? Let us know. And then here's what they actually do. Gen Z, this is from 2024, guys. This is hilarious. Oriana Rosa Royal, Fortune magazine. Gen Z job seekers should be willing to work for free. Long hours, willing to do anything, says Squarespace CMO. Oh, well, come on, Gen Z. Are you listening? Tell me any other generation that's been told this, by the way. Now, in past years, in past generations, there have been internships and there have been apprenticeships that might be unpaid. And you kind of have to prove it. I had an unpaid internship for about a month and they said, yeah, we need you. We're going to give you a job. So I remember I did have an unpaid internship for about a month in, I guess it would have been the winter of 2010. And then they said, okay, you're good. We'll find you a job. So in the past, it's been like, yeah, okay, this isn't about a 20-year-old looking for an internship, trying to get some experience, trying to build a resume or see if there's not an entry for a new position. They're telling an entire generation of Americans that, hey, just work for free. Not an internship, a job. Do a job for free. And with the internship, it's kind of a test both ways. It's like, okay, do you like it? What are you good at? And for them, it's like, okay, how hard are you willing to work? What are you willing to do? So it's pretty easy, by the way. If you're a young person listening to this, if you ever do get an internship like this and, they tell you, hey, this is what we need from you, do 4 times as much. If you get an internship and they say, hey, we need you to work this event for 2 hours, get there an hour early, stay an hour late. And then do everything else that's supposed to get done that you're not even responsible for. They'll offer you a job in a month, but that's a separate thing. So here's the Squarespace. The Squarespace says, Gen Z Americans, you need to work for free. You just need to work for free. Accept your fate. What is this? Slavery? But what's this with Squarespace? Check this out. Squarespace has all kinds of H-1B visa requests. Squarespace brings in foreign workers all the time. Look at this. Here's jobs to pay $275,000 a year, to pay over $300,000 a year. All of these are with Squarespace. There's more. So Squarespace is bringing in foreign workers. Squarespace is bringing in people on H-1Bs under the Trump administration and paying them hundreds of thousands of dollars a year while they tell American men and women, young Americans, to work for free. And you wonder why young Americans are voting communist, and you wonder why young Americans are going socialist. It's not even a political decision. It's a pragmatic one. I bet you many young people don't even like socialism or communism. They go vote for it because they believe it's the only thing that can benefit them. That's all it is. It's pure pragmatism. And you can sit here and talk about, oh, well, don't you know how bad things will get? Don't you know how bad? And they're sitting here saying, hey, they are bad. What the hell are you talking about? What do you mean they could get bad? More Americans under the age of 30 are living at home. There's more debt. There's more delinquencies than ever before. People can't even get out of student loan debt. So, things get really bad under communists. They're sitting here like, bro, I got $100,000 in debt. I cannot get a job. I don't even feel I'll ever be able to own a home. And you're telling me things can get bad if I vote communist? Things are already bad. And the Republican Party has nothing to offer. And instead, Trump gives his friends a tax cut now. All right, I want to get into some of these results from last night. Some interesting stuff happens last night in Wisconsin. I'd say there were some good signs from last night's results, and then there were some concerning signs. I would say the good signs are that maybe the socialists take a step back. I think the Democrats, socialists kind of take a bit of a hit last night. But then for the Republicans, you don't want to put too much faith in midterm numbers, generally speaking, because each midterm has like a different option, meaning like sometimes in a midterm, one party is running unopposed, or sometimes in a midterm, there's one candidate that's really popular. So it's hard to derive too much from most midterm results. But when you have statewide midterms and everybody's on the ballot and everybody's showing up to vote, Republicans, Democrats, same day, that's when you can actually start to look at some of these numbers and say, okay, maybe there's something we can read from this. So that was happening last night. So we will take a look at that coming up on the other side of the break.
You're listening to the Owen Report on the Win Network.
I did a double tap of Crash Out Energy today, guys. Double tap. So if we seem a little extra today, that's why. Find out, Crash Out Energy, crashout.energy. Find out why I did a double tap today before the show. I had a friend of mine. I can't believe this guy. He's crazy. He uses Crash Out Energy as a pre-workout. He says he loves it as a pre-workout. And he doesn't really drink it. I don't know what they call this. I've heard this before. He takes a scoop and he just puts the scoop in his mouth dry. And then he drinks water and chases it down. I don't suggest that. I had never tried that. I don't even know how that would be possible. I feel like I would choke and die. Don't do that. Don't, I'm not telling you to do that. Do not do that. But I have a friend that does this. He's like, oh, it's the greatest thing ever, dude. I put a scoop in my mouth. I drink it down. It tastes great. Because he doesn't really like the pomegranate taste as much, but he likes it when it's like dry. It's totally crazy. So people are using it as a pre-workout. I use it every day for mental focus and energy for a 3-hour talk show. That's why I formulated it, actually. I formulated Crash Out Energy because I wanted to get 200 milligrams of caffeine before I go on air, but I was sick of drinking all those toxic energy drinks with all the bad ingredients. So I said, why don't I make an energy mix that has 200 milligrams of caffeine, has all the different nootropics for mental energy, mental focus, gets rid of the bad ingredients, and puts the good ingredients in it. That's Crash Out Energy. And I will say, the only thing that people say is not everybody likes the flavor. But folks, it's fully organic. It's actually healthy. And so, I could have probably cut some corners with health and done some things to make the flavor a little better. I actually like the flavor because I like pomegranate. If you like pomegranate, you'll like it. If you don't like the bitterness of pomegranate, you might have to get used to it. But that's what you get with a drink that's actually healthy for you. And it is. Crashout.energy. And I will say, I'm hearing it. Some people don't like the pomegranate flavor. So we're thinking about doing a second one where maybe we decide, all right, we'll make a sacrifice for flavor here. So it's like if you want something fully organic that's healthy, you can get the original Crash Out Energy. If you're looking for something that still delivers that energy punch, but actually you can enjoy the flavor no matter what, we're thinking about adding that. I like the flavor. I like pomegranate. I know when you're going to drink a health drink, sometimes, it's not going to taste like 10 scoops of sugar because there's no sugar in it. So I like that. Others don't. But either way, if you want 3 hours of energy without the crash, ironically, if you want 3 hours of energy, mental focus, clarity, go to crashout.energy and secure your canister today.
I put the knees in my mind. I never wanna be alright. And then a life is going down. And saw the pain in my heart. I never dark into the light. I should have died to break it down. I don't know what to say, or when I wanna stay. I never left this game. We've lost the road tonight.
Extra dimensional and multi-universal. Here's your host, Owen Schroyer.
All right, so get this. So get this, guys. We're having fun here. All right. We're having a bunch of fun. You know, I've got some friends in town. We went golfing earlier today, had a nice round of golf. So they're actually here. And the AC in my house just went out. All right. It's probably at least 100 degrees in Austin today. So, okay. So that's fun. And the studio is even hotter than that. So may have to deal with that. Also, had a round of golf earlier today. The first night of the Owen Schroyer Soccer League starts tonight. How about that? How about that for a fun day? And we decided to do a political talk show in between all of it. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine that? All right. Also, I'm going to be on with Ben Swan. So we will probably be ending the transmission just a few minutes early because Ben had a very tight schedule tonight, but I told him I would do the show. So we're probably going to be ending it a little early to go on with Ben Swan. I will tell you the 2-hour interview with Brandon Strock is going to be dropping on Monday. I also did an interview yesterday with an Egyptian TV network. That one's a little bit harder to track and trace since it's in a different language. But they do have a Washington, D.C. Office that I was in contact with. So I'll try to share that whenever I can find it. But yeah, so a lot of things happening here, guys. A lot of things happening. Hope everyone's having a great day. You know? Hope you're having a great day. A lot of love in the air. A lot of heat in the air, too. Especially in this house now. So that's fun. All right, let's look at these election stories from last night. Of course, human error forces delay in Milwaukee primary election results. Election officials said 5 of the 9 USB sticks were missing results from the election. Oh, yes, well. I'm sure there's nothing to see here, guys. The city of Milwaukee Election Commission Executive Director Paulina Gutierrez said they discovered 5 of 9 flash drives brought to central count had the audit log downloaded and not the results. It was just human error. And they had to address this at midnight last night. Are you kidding me? Download error in Milwaukee delays final results in Wisconsin primary election. Oh, boy. And stolen elections, guys? Are we talking about that? No, we don't want to because, of course, the Democrat socialist candidate ended up losing. Hong Wong, Francesca, ended up losing. You know, that's kind of a big sigh of relief, I have to say. That's a big sigh of relief. I mean, that was a total goofball candidate. And even though Wisconsin is definitely, left liberal leaning, I didn't think that they were that far gone. No. Maybe you think there were some shenanigans there. I'm not hearing anybody claim that, by the way. Nobody's claiming shenanigans. There's like, oh, yeah, more than half of the USB drives that carried the results didn't have results. Totally normal. I mean, it's just an election after all. What's the big deal? So very suspicious there. But Wong loses. Now, I think the more significant blow happens in Minnesota. Now, Mike Lindell is a great American patriot. He's one of the best. He's a true believer. And he has sacrificed so much of his own for this country now, for MAGA, for Trump, however you want to phrase it. Lindell has really done a lot for this country. He has really paid a high price. He's dealt with the censorship. He's dealt with the lawfare. Lindell has dealt with it all. And you know what? And he's such a great guy, too. He's had such a great sense of humor as well with it. He goes on the Kimmel show. They roast him, but he doesn't care. He's like, give me the platform. I'm going to stand up for America anyway. He runs in Minnesota, and it was bad. The results were really, really bad. And that's a bit of a gut blow, I will say, that Lindell couldn't even win last night. And I'm like, well, what does this represent? There's two things that happen. First of all, Minnesota's results last night do not look good for Republicans. Now, you can say that's Minnesota. It's a blue state. We're not really too concerned. Okay, that's fine. But if that translates to other states, if the same Republicans not showing up, Democrats are showing up, if that translates to other states, even at like a 5% number, guys, that's bad news. That is bad news for the Republicans. Now, again, you might not too much, maybe you don't want to put too much faith into that. That's okay. But to me, it was like, I forget what the exact numbers were, but, Minnesota did go for Kamala Harris, but it was a much smaller margin as far as the vote ratios are concerned than what we saw last night. Mike Lindell is MAGA. Mike Lindell is about as MAGA as it can get. Now, I don't even want to make this really about Trump, but I can't help but wonder, is it a reflection of Trump, or is it's like, I mean, Trump did endorse him. Maybe Trump could have done more, you could argue. Maybe it was Lindell's statement about amnesty or the illegal aliens that are here. But if Republican voters are turned off, in Minnesota, by the way, if Republican voters are turned off by the idea of amnesty, then guess what? They're going to be completely turned off by the Trump administration and the Republicans as well. So, not good returns in Minnesota. We'll do a deep dive on some of this very soon. But as I have it right now, I think the Democrats are going to come out of the House with a 12-seat advantage. And I think the Senate right now is going to be split 50-50. That's kind of how I'm feeling about it right now. All right. Remember that plane story, guys? This is getting even weirder now. I might have a new theory. I don't know if I want to go there because this one might be a little much. But remember that plane story? Trump switches planes. And then they come out and they say, oh, Trump had to switch planes. It was a security threat. But then people are saying, so wait a second. So you just told the world your security plans. If there's ever a threat on Air Force One, you just told the whole world how you deal with these security threats. So that's kind of an issue right there. And then there was, if you thought that the plane was going to be attacked, then why did you put staffers and members of the press on the plane? Two totally reasonable questions in response to this story. And it was strange. The reason why it was so strange is because, okay, there might be threats to Air Force One, threats to President Trump. They got to make security measures and call audibles, and all of this stuff is happening in live time. But to go out there and present it like they're bragging about it, like they're proud of it, like it's Donald Trump, James Bond 007. And it just didn't make sense. It's like, why are you bragging about your security plays? If Trump is under such a threat, why would you be publicly displaying your security maneuvers to protect the president now? That's a security issue. And then if you really thought that the plane was a target of an attack, why would you send it up there with members of the press and your own staff on the plane? It doesn't make sense. Are you guys ready for me to get real conspiratorial? I don't even know if I want to go there. I wonder if you guys will go there yourself. So look at what's in the news today. Trump picks blonde aide over other cabinet members to hide with him during Air Force One switch. President Donald Trump's aide Natalie Harp and several others reportedly accompanied the president when he secretly switched planes after the NATO summit in Turkey. All right. President Trump made sure that Natalie Harp, his beloved personal aide, was securely by his side after he sneaked off Air Force One to travel in a decoy jet, hiding in a catering truck to escape the plane. Again, there's your security measures that they just made public. Weird. Harp was among those secretly selected to accompany him on a secret flight back from Turkey. So he sends up the other aides, sends up the other staff, the press, and he grabs Natalie Harp and says, "You're going to fly with me." Are you guys going where I'm going here? Are you guys starting to think what I'm starting to think here? Let's just go ahead and lay it out, because none of it made any sense, right? It doesn't make any sense. Why would you publish and publicize and brag about the security measures for the president of the United States? That's top secret classified stuff. If people are trying to get the president, you don't tell them all the different security maneuvers you have. So why would you be doing that? And if you really thought Air Force One was under a threat, why are you sending up aides and staffers on a plane that you think is going to get shot down? None of that makes sense. And again, you're bragging about it. You're proud of this. None of this makes sense. Why are you proud and bragging about sending people up like sitting ducks? Why are you proud and bragging about your security maneuvers to protect the president's life? What if it was a distraction? What if somebody caught wind that Trump wanted to do a private flight with his little blonde friend? What if somebody caught wind that Donald Trump wanted to get off of Air Force One and get some private time with Natalie Harp for some reason? Who knows why? Who could ever imagine why Donald Trump would want some private time with a hot blonde aide? I can't even think of why that might be. But it seems that that's the story. And so what if somebody caught wind of that? Like, I don't know, a wife, and said, "Donald, I heard that you snuck off a plane, because I've got my sources too, Donald. I heard that you snuck off the plane onto a private flight with your little blonde assistant that you're always running around with. Just a rumor I heard. No, baby, it's not true. In fact, it was a security measure. That's what it was. It was a security measure, okay? Gotta go. Thank you. Pete, I need you to make an announcement. We need to write up a story that I had to get off the jet for a security issue. Okay, Pete? Who else do we need to talk to? Marco Rubio? Do we have friends at Fox News still? Let them know we need a press release immediately. Donald Trump snuck off the plane because it was under threat. But Mr. President, you do realize there were aides and cabinet members and media on that flight, correct? I know, but trust me on this. We got to go with it. We got to go with it. Mr. President, if we say this, we are sacrificing our own security protocols. Mr. President, if we publish this information, we're compromising our own security to protect your life. I know, but trust me, something much bigger is at stake. Trust me on that. We got to go with it. Like, all right. So what makes more sense? What makes more sense? That they snuck Trump off the plane because it was a security issue, and then they let the whole world know how they deal with the president's security, and they sent up staff and aides and media on a flight they thought was going to get shut down, or that Trump wanted a little private time with his favorite blonde aide, and somebody found out that wasn't supposed to, so they ran an entire false story to distract from that. You tell me which one is more crazy. You tell me. You tell me which one makes more sense. I'll leave that one up to you guys. Hey, you guys remember that deal that Trump made with Argentina for all that beef? So we bailed out Japan. That failed. We tried to bail out Argentina. That failed miserably. Now it's even worse. Nearly 30,000 pounds of raw beef sold in the United States hit with high-risk recall after bypassing import inspections. Well, why did they do that? Because this was the deal Trump made with Argentina. Which, by the way, yes, it is all for Israel. Milei is an Israeli asset. Milei is turning over the Patagonia to the Israelis. And by the way, this is an old Israeli plan. It's called like the Antiana or something, the Antiana plan. I forget what it is. Somebody probably remembers the name of it in the chat. It's been a long-term plan for the Israelis to take the southern Patagonia. And it looks like Milei is that's the whole purpose of Milei right now. So it was all a bait and switch, just like with Trump, just like with Milei. But you know, Trump is working for the Israeli lobby, and so when they tell him, hey, you need to help Argentina, he helps Argentina. He never helps us, but he helps Argentina. So he cut this beef deal. Remember, there was the big gripe about how Trump sold out the American farmers for this Argentine beef deal, and he was right that was a total sellout. And then they were cutting corners to get that beef in to bail out Milei. Well, guess what? Now that beef is being recalled. Over 29,000 pounds of raw beef imported from Argentina has been recalled in 2 states without a follow-up inspection after arriving in the United States. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. But there it is. There it is. Okay. What else is Trump doing? What else is Trump doing for his real boss, his real people? Josh Kushner is about to buy the Lakers for $12.5 billion. Isn't that amazing? Josh Kushner is now going to be a part owner of the Lakers. Now, this is a little interesting, guys. Now, Mark Walter, who was the new Lakers owner, Mark Walter, he's owned the Lakers for maybe a year or so. So why would he be selling? That doesn't make any sense. Well, it turns out Mark Walter is hit with an SEC investigation. So here's the timeline. Mark Walter gets hit with an SEC investigation. Mark Walter then gets invited to the White House. Mark Walter gives Trump a gift. Actually, he gifted Trump a Lakers championship ring. I don't know what ring that is. They haven't won since 2020, I believe. So I don't know what ring he got. Maybe they gave him a custom one. Everybody knows how to work Trump over. You just tell him he's the winner. He's the champion. You know, give him a fake peace prize, give him a fake championship ring, and he'll do whatever you want. So Mark Walter, SEC investigation, shows up at the White House with a championship ring for Trump. And now all of a sudden, Mark Walter is all of a sudden selling his franchise to Josh Kushner, the brother of Jared Kushner. If this SEC investigation gets called off of Walter, I think we all know exactly what happened, don't we? Walter got hit with an SEC investigation. He called up Donald Trump, said, "What can you do for me?" Trump said, "I'll tell you what. You're going to sell the Lakers to Josh Kushner. That's what you're going to do. You're going to sell the Lakers to my brother-in-law's brother, and we'll see what we can do for you after that." So Walter shows up. They negotiate this deal. Trump gets a nice championship ring as his little take home from this deal. And if the SEC investigation into Walter is squashed in a couple weeks or a month or so, total corruption. Total corruption. But I'm sure it's all just a coincidence, guys. I'm sure it's all just a coincidence. All of it's a coincidence, actually. Former Mossad chief David Barnea to take top role at defense company. This defense company is based in Florida, I'll tell you. Ondas Defense says recently retired top spy to join as global president and chairman, and will work to develop the next generation of AI-enabled multi-domain defense systems. Of course, Netanyahu recently just said that Israel is going to be AI dominant, and now their former Mossad chief is running Ondas Defense for the next generation of AI, a Florida-based company being run by a former Mossad chief. I'm sure it's all just a coincidence. Trump administration takes a loss in the legal department this week. Kennedy Center to pay a jazz musician more than $250,000 in legal fees. A judge has ordered the Kennedy Center to pay a jazz musician more than $250,000 after she previously dismissed a lawsuit by the center. So this musician said, "I'm not going to perform at the Trump Center." So the Trump administration sued them for $1 million. The Trump administration lost that lawsuit and then awarded the musician, Chuck Red, $250,000. Pathetic. Guys, have you seen this? You know, we're all talking about the flock cameras. Look at this one. So this is a graphic of all the flock cameras in New York City. Okay. And people have noticed for some reason right here on the Upper West Side, there are none. You noticed all the, like every damn block has a camera everywhere else, except right here for some reason. Do you want to know the vast majority of people who live in this area are? Do you want to know the highest percentage demographic that lives in this area, guys? Would you like to take a guess? Do I even have to say it? Take a guess. Take a guess, guys. No flock cameras for them. Isn't that amazing? Isn't it just amazing? So this is Trump, guys. I think this guy wants to run. I don't think people realize what a megalomaniac, narcissistic messiah complex that has completely corrupted Donald Trump's mind is. He's asked about running in 2028. Here's what he says.
Put on as Trump 2028.
Yeah.
Are you serious about taking a third term?
Everybody asks me that question, and you know that the law is very strong on that. I'd love to run, but the law is very strong. I get asked by well, even tonight, they're screaming at the event, 2028. No, everybody wants me to do it, but the law is very strong.
Is that a no?
Thank you very much, everybody.
Put on.
So they're actually talking about it, guys. They're actually talking about it. Trump wants to run again. And I wouldn't be surprised at this point if he does. He might even cancel elections at this point, honestly. I don't think people really appreciate how corrupt this thing has become or how deranged Trump has become in this process. He's really turned over into an egomaniac, the likes of which we've probably never seen before, honestly. It's that insane. So it wouldn't surprise me one bit. But if you listen to what he says, He says, they all want me to run again. Do you know who he's talking about, folks? He's talking about his friends and family. He's talking about the donor class. He's talking about the people that have screwed this country up and stolen all of our money, stolen our future, spilled our blood and treasure in their interests. They're the ones begging Trump to run again because they're the ones benefiting from this administration. And Trump is taking all the heat, by the way. They're all making more money screwing over America. They've got, anytime they want a war, Trump will do it for them. They want a war in Venezuela? Done. They want a war in Iran? Done. Any war they want, Trump will give it to them. Any tax cut they want, Trump will give it to him. Any stock deal they want, Trump will give it to them. Any big tech operation they want, Trump will give it to them. They're the ones telling Trump to run. And Trump, of course, loves it. Trump loves the TV show. He can't get enough of himself. He can't get enough of the Trump reality show. Has nothing to do with America, patriotism, country, anything. It's all about him now. And that's how he views it. So yeah, believe me, they're telling him to run again. They have never been making more money ever. Ever. They are making so much money by manipulating Trump to do their bidding. And you just wonder, how did this happen? How did this happen? Is it just Trump just making a decision that he says, you know what, I'm going to actually go with them now. I was with the American people, but I'm not anymore. I'm with the donors now. I'm with the globalists now. I'm with the traders now. I'm with them now. I'm with the haves now. I'm not with the American people. Screw them. Is it blackmail? What is it? Why did Trump do this? So I think this is here. I think Trump is actually thinking about it, guys. I think Trump is actually thinking about running again. And they'll, of course, tell him to run again. And, of course, he'll have people saying, oh, yeah, totally legal. Of course. He'll have others that might say, Donald, just stop. This is not even realistic. I think he wants to run again, guys. I do. I think Trump wants to run again. He loves it. This guy loves it. He loves the attention. He loves his name in the headlines every day. It's all about him. It's the Trump TV show. His friends and family are richer than they've ever been. They want him to run again. And then last night, did you guys see? It barely, I don't know, where did it? I didn't even hear about the Patriot games until this clip started going viral on X. So the Patriot games, which I liked, it was a great idea. I thought this was a victory for Trump. They did the Patriot games where they had a bunch of high school athletes from all across the country, from each state, compete, boys and girls. So you can see them at the award ceremony. Guess who's standing front and center making it all about them at the award ceremony last night? Who do you think? Who do you think? Donald Trump. Saying thank you to the audience like it's all about him. Standing there front and center on the stage. I mean, this is the epitome of the administration right here. He's sitting there making it about him. He's sitting there standing in front of the athletes that competed saying, thank you, I did this. It's all about me. Not glorifying the athletes, not behind the athletes, not giving them their TV time, making it all about him. Standing in front of them with them in the background, and he's saying, it's all about me. Thank you. It's all about me. Thank you. That sums it all up right there. That's the psychology, guys. Boy, oh boy, this thing has turned into quite a disaster, hasn't it? My goodness. All right. Should we open up some phone lines? I think we should open up phone lines, guys. How do you feel about that? Let's do that. Okay. It's getting hot in here, guys. We got a disaster on our hand here. We got a disaster on our hand here at the Schroyer house. We got guests in town. We got the AC broke. They're telling me they can't get here till tomorrow. Oh, my God. It's 100 degrees. Oh, good Lord. What is going on? Okay. Phone lines are open. 747-255-60. 747-255-60. Give us a call. We'll get you up and on the air. Remember, I answer the phone. I ask you your name, where you're from. You are on the air. So when you hear me, that means you're on the air. So first caller of the show. What's your name? Where you from?
Hey, Owen, it's Alex from Kentucky.
What's up, Alex?
Hey, what's going on? hey, so you stress test the audio earlier. Now will you stress test my stretched meat, please?
Oh,
Hey,
my
do you know what
goodness.
an actual Groundhog's Day is? Could be a fun fact for you to look into. I know we're in the Groundhog cycle, but there is one specific day, and it's definitely a Ruth with Karoline Leavitt. You called that one from the beginning.
100%. Yeah.
One more thing. You said it out loud. When you dry scoop the pre-workout, it's called dry scooping.
That's what they call it?
Yep, it's as simple as that. Just
One of
dry
my
scooping.
friends, I'm upstairs in the studio. I've got my friends are downstairs right now. They actually tried it in the break. They said it was not bad. They actually tried it. They said, no, it's actually not bad.
If you can do a dry scoop, that means it's got a good flavor to it. It's not too harsh on the taste buds.
Well, they did say they actually thought the flavor was better with that method.
Oh, okay, straight to the system, I guess.
So okay, you call it. I'm curious what other people feel about the Karoline Leavitt story. I didn't want to take a Ruth home run lap on that. Can I? Am I allowed? Are you giving me a Ruth on this?
I think so. I think you called it. They
Okay.
should be leaving.
You know what,
Now,
though?
we'll see.
I appreciate your vote of confidence here. I think if we get another one or two, we'll give it the Ruth. I don't want to take a full Ruth yet. I'm 50-50 on claiming this one as a Ruth. We did kind of call it, but it wasn't like a direct call. It was kind of more of like an idea. Like, yeah, I think I'll hit a home run sometime. It wasn't walking up to the plate and pointing at the bleachers and then plunking the seat. But, okay, you know what? If you say it's a Ruth, I'm going to consider that. We're going to take that into consideration now.
I think so. I think you're right. A couple more start dropping. Then it's the mass exodus, and then you really called it.
Then it'll be a full Ruth. And I'll tell you what, the next one is this situation with the military morale. Thank you for the call. That's going to be the next big one. I got a feeling this thing is about to break, guys. Oh, what a disaster this administration has been. Just unreal. Just unreal. Next caller, what's your name? Where are you from?
What's going on, Owen? This is Ahmed from New York. I just wanted to ask a quick question, and I'll let you get to other callers. Thank you for taking my call. I just wanted to know, what do you think what the American government and other governments around the world would look like without Freemasonry in it? Do you think it would be bad or good?
I don't know if they would exist in the nature they do.
Do you mean like in the magnitude of like fire department, police department, medical, et cetera?
I don't even know about getting into details. I would just say that, Freemasons are very foundational in the formation of many of the governments you're referring to. So I don't even know if they would exist as they do today. I don't want to say good or bad. I'll just say, yeah, the influence of the Masons has been imperative in the growth of these governments.
So do you think that it's actually a good thing that I have a feeling there's a satanic part of the Freemasonry that's been infiltrated, because ultimately Freemasonry was meant to build nations within the hearts of men, and now it's being corroded by the bad Freemasons. So this war that we're about to approach is not so much AI versus humans, or like transhumanists versus regular humans. I feel like it's actually like the good side of like the Knights of what is it called? The Knights of Templar, like those type of like DNA type people, and versus the actual satanic, which is like the Aleister Crowley type and the Albert Pike type, Helena Blavatsky type. There's like a dark versus light war going on, and I think it's coming out in the open, and not a lot of people are understanding what's going on.
I'm not the biggest. I'm not the biggest Mason hawk. I mean, there's undeniable history there, obviously, especially when you talk about the founding of the United States and the different, numerology and symbolism all around D.C. But that's more of, it's like good or bad. You can make up your own mind there. And I don't put too much. I think people put way too much on singular entities. It's like, oh, everything is the Freemasons, or, oh, everything is Israel. It's like at different times, factions rise and fall. And to me, it's like there's no doubt the Israelis and whatever that faction is, whatever that mafia is, the Zionists, however that works out, and whatever their goal is, or whatever goal is being worked through that angle, through Israel, It's like that is clearly the number one power broker in America right now. Whatever it is that's running that operation, it's running the White House, it's running the Middle East now. Americans' entire might is being used for this operation. And so it's like, yeah, right now that is the most powerful thing affecting us. And, you know, maybe at a different time, it could be a different group. It could be a different group. It could be Freemasons. It could be Catholics, whatever. But right now, that is the number one power broker controlling our country. I think it's undeniable.
I would definitely say to Trump, I am a big MAGA Trump guy. You can make fun of me, whatever it is. But trust me, I'm keeping tabs on him because Mr. Trump, you say about gas prices, right? You say about cost of living. I have 3 kids. I keep track of my bills. I'm on top of things. And I keep track of average day prices day by day. And I'm a small family business owner, so I know the economics within a big metropolis. You cannot lie to your supporters. So when you talk about averaging out to $2.97 on gas prices when things are still over way above $4, people pay attention when they support you, not the ones that don't support you. You understand, Mr. Trump? So please, Mr. Trump, you only have about 365 more days till people start really turning on you, man. Like, honestly.
Might be sooner than that. Hey, here's one for you before you go. How's Mom Donnie doing?
He's he's a wolf in sheep's clothing, you know, like all these, what are they called? The transplants that come from like Portland, Oregon, and they settle in New York City, and they built a coffee shop or an office space. All these guys they used to support him in the election. Now they don't really support him because the guy's like on board with Trump, even though he's a communist or whatever it is. So, you know, like meeting up with him in the White House has turned a lot of these guys.
Wait, hold on, stop. Let me stop you right there, because I'm looking for something specifically here. Forget about the Trump Mom Donnie angle. I'm talking about, I know you're a small business owner, you're in the city, you're in the community. I'm more curious about what the reception is like of Mom Donnie right now amongst that community, the business owners, the small business owners, the guys working in the margins. I'm curious what their reception is.
Well, we're being outnumbered by transplants because they get the old business owners out, after post-COVID, and a lot of these people can't pay the rent anymore, and a lot of these companies are using the delivery app drivers and the West African migrants. Like, this is all a show right now in New York City, like between the delivery apps and the bikes and the city bikes. City bikes is a completely different thing. But in general, they like the perception of Mom Donnie with the small family businesses inside New York City and the 5 boroughs, they really don't care for him. They just care. They're so busy, like, caring about themselves. They don't even care. They're like, oh, yeah, he's nice. He's not nice. Nobody really has an opinion about this guy, if that makes sense, because there's so many other things going on block by block in a city block. There's a lot of corruption, and everybody knows that the mayor's not going to do anything, because how many patterns of mayors don't do anything? You know, that's just what politicians, and that's just
you just nailed it right there. Thank you for the call. You know, it's strange. Mom Donnie put out that list of all the billionaires, or I don't even know. I don't even think they were all billionaires. But, you know, they're looking at these new taxes if you own multiple properties, and they put out an actual list of the individuals that they're going to be targeting with this new policy that own multiple properties. And they had to take the list down. You know, that's a real concerning thing. And I removed the political debate out of the conversation, and just why would you be publishing people's private information and their addresses like that? That to me is very concerning. You know, I'll even sit back and be open-minded enough to say, all right, whatever. I don't live in New York City. I didn't vote for Mom Donnie, obviously. I'll sit back here from Austin, Texas, and just say, okay, let's see how it goes. Makes a bunch of promises. Let's see how it goes. Oh, then maybe there's some good things happening. Maybe there's some bad things happening. We'll see how it all goes. But that was the most concerning thing for me. That's extremely dangerous. And to me, it's either, I don't know how you could be so short-sighted to do that. And it almost feels like it was with intent. And that's scary. That's not good. Now, they had to take the list down for obviously. Why would you do that? That's like asking, that's like asking for trouble. So that's the most concerning thing I've seen from Mom Donnie. All right, next caller. What's your name? Where you from?
Hey, what's up, Owen? This is Ivan from LA.
What's up, Ivan?
Hey, just one of the many reasons I've been following you for all these years. You are always spot on without wanting to admit that you're spot on. You're the only one so far from everywhere that I've seen that thought the same thing I did about the Air Force One story. It fits his MO. They'll put out some crazy stuff because he wanted to be alone with with the new blonde. He did that. Remember, he did that before. I forgot if it was 2018 or 2019 when he sent Melania and everybody, all the aides, and during Christmas time to be alone. I think it was Elena Hava. I'm trying to remember who it was. So
That's hot.
Yep. So like that's what I think happened.
Yeah.
He wanted to be alone with the new piece.
Well, and that's again, it's like none of it makes sense, and so I'm just looking at the two potentials here, and I don't really see. I mean, there's really only two potentials. Either you take the story at face value, and they sent a bunch of people up on a plane they thought was going to get struck out of the sky, and they told the whole world Trump's security plans. It's like none of that makes sense. But okay, there's your one option at face value, or they're running an entire ruse because Trump wanted personal time with his hot blonde assistant, and then he got caught, and so they're running this story to make it look like, oh, it was nothing. Which one is more, I mean, which one makes more sense? And I'm sorry, but to me, the blonde makes more sense.
Hey, wait, it made 100%. 100%. That, like, that's what happened, and that's what it is.
And here's the problem, and I see it in the chat today. Ivan, thank you for the call. And I see it in the chat today. And, it's like, I kind of get it. People are like, oh, what a move by Trump. Like legendary move by Trump. It's like, hey, whatever. I like hot chicks. All right. Whatever. We all like hot blondes. It's not even about that. It's not even about, oh, Trump is such a badass. He snuck off with the hot blonde. It's like, oh, my gosh. It's not even about that, guys. I don't even care about that. Whatever, fine. It's funny to me, maybe. It's about the fact, this is what you have to understand, guys. They will make up ridiculous lies to the American public to cover up for this man without any shame. That's the problem. And it's getting to a point where you wonder if it's not whatever shit Trump has in his britches that's driving the entire policy right now. It's like, is the shit that's in Trump's britches the reason why we're in Iran? Is the shit that's in Trump's britches the reason why they're getting tax cuts for the rich? It's like, you have to understand, if this is how they're operating, if they're going to do that, if they're going to do this whole ruse to cover up for Trump getting caught with the blonde, like, guys, everything is cooked. Everything is fake. Everything is a ruse. They will run entire psychological propaganda operations on you to cover up from what the hell is really going on. And if they're willing to do this about a stupid, blonde sneak off moment, they're willing to do it about anything. You can't trust anything from this administration anymore, guys. You can't trust anything from Donald Trump anymore. You'd be a fool to. Only a fool would take Donald Trump at face value. Now, I'll just to say, if you still trust Trump and you still trust the plan or whatever, then okay, fine. If that's how you want to be, then fine. Don't sit here and act like you're not getting lied to every day like a fool. If you still want to believe in some magical unicorn land that Trump is going to reveal when it's all said and done, if you want to believe in some, Q fairy tale, then fine, you can believe that. But don't lie to yourself about everything that's happening on the day-to-day. They're lying to you every day, folks. They're lying to you about Iran. They're lying to you about the economy. They're lying to you about mass deportations. And apparently they're lying now. They're making up giant stories to distract from Trump probably getting caught canoodling with his blonde assistant. Oh, boy, oh, boy. Next caller, what's your name? Where you from?
I'm Don from Orange County.
What's up, Don?
Hey, I just wanted to tell you what you're saying right now. It is fake. All that shit's fake. I mean, the only thing that's real that's happening is the Zionist agenda, what we can all see. But everything with Trump, all that, it's all fake bullshit. I mean, he's a pedophile. He's on tape. Somewhere, someone's got him by the balls having sex with kids. and that's why he's so, in their pocket. But even going further than that, something I saw today came across my feed that just fucking pissed me off, dude. I'm not trying to drop the F-bomb, but it pissed me off. I am so sick and tired of seeing these Zionist Jezreel kids, their offspring, just being so billionaire privileged where they haven't done a damn thing in their life to contribute to society, and they're billionaires like Jared Kushner and his piece of shit brother buying the Lakers. Look at the picture of these guys. You got two young dudes. They're billionaires making transaction when you and my son and even me for what it's worth can't go buy a fucking home. We can't go buy houses. Yet these guys that probably haven't worked a day in their life, they're not known for anything, and they haven't done anything in their life to worth value, and yet they have all this power. You're going buying sports teams and shit. I don't even watch the damn Lakers, dude. I was a fan for the Lakers ever since I was 5 years old, watching with my dad. And when LeBron hit and came on the scene, I stopped watching because after Kobe, it wasn't the same. But I saw these guys today. I saw it on my feed that they're buying the freaking Lakers, and that just pissed me off even more. I thought after LeBron left, I would be able to start watching them again, but no. Now we got, a billionaire Kushner after his brother and his wife buy an island. I'm sick of seeing this shit. I'm sick of seeing it. I'm sick of watching these people fleece our country. This is why I was telling you about the taxes the other day. And you made a point, but I think you got harassed because of who you are, and you were with Alex at the time, and all that shit. You got swatted. It made good theater, dude. It made good. It was good coverage for them, to take you down or to dress you down and take your dignity from you and put you behind bars. And they just wanted to send a message.
Yeah, Brandon Strock and I were talking about that yesterday. That interview is going to drop Monday. But the truth of the matter is, it is a successful operation that they run. They will do these type of things to try to get you to give up and tap out. And, give credit where credit is due. One of my biggest mentors in life, despite, maybe things go wrong in the end. But that was Alex Jones. That's what they tried to do to Alex. That's what they've been trying to do to Alex for years. He's still on the air every day. And so, they are certainly tried the same thing with me. Maybe they're still trying. Who knows? Maybe they hacked my AC system, and that's why it won't turn on today. I don't know. But we did talk about that yesterday with Brandon Strock, how this is kind of the crucible time, really, right now. And you're seeing a bunch of people fall off either because they don't really know how to do serious political coverage outside of Trump glazing or MAGA merchandising. And so they're kind of in a weird spot. And then you have people that are kind of just part of the fun of it, part of the culture of it. But now that the culture's dead and the fun is gone, they don't know what to do. They're dropping off. Then you have people that are afraid to lose their access to Trump, access to the big Republican platforms, the different conservative Inc. platforms. So they're not going to say anything negative about Trump. And you're kind of seeing everybody go through this crucible right now. But the good news is, and not to spoil everything we talked about in the interview that drops Monday, but the good news is, and we both agreed on this, I think that our run is actually just beginning. I think that we all got faked out by Trump. We all got duped by Trump at the end of the day. Whether he was ever with us or not, maybe we'll never know for sure. But this run is clearly over. It was never about us. Whatever this Trump run was about, it was never about us, and it's not going to ever be about us. But because of that, I think our run is just beginning. I truly believe that. I think our run is just beginning, and I think we're going through the crucible of it right now. And the people that are willing to fight through and survive this crucible are going to come out on the other side gleaming, and it's going to be ours. It's going to be ours now.
Let me ask you a question, okay? Having said that, what you just said, do you think, okay, let me put it to you this way. Our government needs to be dismantled. It needs to not exist anymore as it is. The entire, and every single one of them up there. It's not just one, not 10. It's all of them. Even if there's a couple that haven't been compromised, like Thomas Massey, it's all of them, because he couldn't make a difference. He made a little bit of a difference, but at the end, it's just like Marjorie Taylor, they got tossed. Now that system that they were in, that entire thing needs to be burned to the ground. And
so here's what happens.
happens.
So here's what happens behind the scenes. And I'll tell you this, Don. Thank you for the call. There is this belief, whether people agree or not, have the debate, because there is a debate, but there is this belief. It's like, okay, everyone knows the whole system is corrupt. Everyone knows the system is broke even beyond repair. The problem is, how do you do a controlled demolition, or how do you do some sort of a transfer so that not everything collapses, or you come out with all the assets? This is what's happening right now. And Israel is the number one benefactor at the current moment, but this can go away just like anything else can go away, just like MAGA can go away. This can easily turn around. And maybe it's really deeply embedded and we need a political crowbar to do it, but it's not going to last forever. So the problem is, when people talk about dismantling the system, or when they talk about, shatter the FBI, the CIA into a million pieces, the pushback in D.C. is, oh, no, we can't do that. If we do that, this will collapse, that will collapse, the whole country will collapse. And it's all this stuff. Oh, we can't do that. We can't do that. And instead of this pushback, which is, no, we have to do this, and the American people will survive. America has survived many obstacles, issues, struggles throughout its 250 years. We can survive this. Maybe it gets a little nasty. But see, this is how you know it's all a lie. Because they're willing to sacrifice the country for the foreign interests. They're willing to sit here and tell you, you need to pay more for gas for the war in Iran. They're willing to sit here and tell you, Trump is remaking the entire world, so your cost of living is going to go up in the meantime while we do this. Well, if your logic is, if we're working for foreign and special interests and the American people have to pay that price, and ultimately that's a good thing, then I'd say with that same logic, then you should be willing to collapse the corrupt system and let Americans deal with the pain for the moment until we can bring it back up. So that's how you know it's a lie. They're willing to have Americans struggle. They're willing to have Americans sacrifice. They're willing to have Americans pay the price for the foreign and the special interests that hurt the country. But if you want to do something good for the country, they say, oh, you can't do that. That's too much to ask of the American people. So that's how you know it's a lie. But I don't even believe it. I don't even buy it. I think you can collapse. I think the government collapses, and I don't think it really affects us as much as they claim. Now, will there be chaos, confusion? Probably. But I think most of this stuff can get solved at the state level. I think 99% of people are good people. I think the vast majority of people are competent people. And I think the American people can keep America going without this corrupt government over our head. So I don't even believe the lie that, oh, if the government collapses, somehow the country collapses. Bull. I think the government collapses, the country rebuilds and is stronger than ever. But that's like how it goes in D.C. And maybe Trump, went through this phase himself. I don't know. But that's how it goes in D.C. All right, next caller. What's your name? Where are you from?
How's it going on? Hey, my name's Ellie. I'm calling from New Jersey.
All right, Ellie, go ahead.
So, I'm glad to see, we're not all trapped in that us versus them mentality, left versus right. It seems like now more than ever, people are independent. So what I really want to see is us getting more systematic in how we approach every problem, because we know there's solutions. We've always been divided, but now we have to do what the bad guys do, which is just like how they get together, they organize, they spare no expense to serve their interests. We could do the same. Even with automation, we could be doing our own nonprofit, large-scale automation, lower the prices of everything. We could actually end world hunger. So there's so much good we could do. We've always been held back. So I want to see us getting systematic. What do you think about that?
Do you look at that as a local initiative?
So local meaning we have an agenda that we all agree on. So, for instance, they have their agenda 2030. We have to have our own agenda, and that could happen on the local level to the state and then, nationwide.
Well, I do think some of that is going to manifest just organically out of necessity. So I appreciate the call. Let me squeeze one more caller in before we close this hour and take our final break. Next caller, what's your name? Where are you from? Next caller going once, going twice. We'll try this one. Next caller, what's your name? Where are you from? Go ahead.
Hey, Owen, it's Jen from California. How are you?
All right, Jen. All right. I'm a little hot today.
Yeah. You may have addressed this already, but I just kind of tuned in. What do you think, because you've debated him before, Andrew Wilson, about the debate that he and Candace are going to do on Friday?
Yeah, somebody brought that up yesterday. I just don't care. I'm going to be honest. I don't really care.
Oh, okay.
The whole thing is, I get it. People want it. You know, obviously the Charlie Kirk assassination has a big debate online. And so if that kind of metastasizes into this Wilson versus Candace debate, then that's good. People want that. I'm sure it'll be fun, entertaining, maybe informative to a degree. I don't know if there's going to be any winner or loser. You either believe the official narrative or you don't. You know, I'll say this more significantly. Robinson's defense just put out a document recently. Did you see this?
No, I didn't.
Well,
oh,
see,
yeah, I did. I did see that a little earlier today. Yeah.
So it's kind of this whole debate thing has ended up being a distraction. And who knows if it even happens. I hope it happens. But
what do you think about PBD being the moderator?
Well, I didn't even know that. I'd say that's good.
Yeah, she just announced it.
I think PBD is probably a fair moderator. So Tyler Robinson.
Joe Rogan offered to do it.
Tyler
Robinson's. She didn't want to go to Texas.
Tyler Robinson's team put out a statement that's kind of both sides are using it to claim that they're right. We'll see. Again, I'm just like, let's see what happens at trial. But Tyler Robinson's defense put out a statement where they're basically confirming some of the things that came out as evidence where the official narrative believers are saying, look, Tyler Robinson's defense is admitting he did it. But then when you read more into the document, they're actually claiming to the judge that they lack enough evidence to prosecute. Now, of course, the defense is going to do this. This is what the judge is considering right now. Is there enough evidence to take this to trial? I would say yes. I highly doubt the judge is going to say no. But their argument, while they're accepting that some of the evidence presented is legitimate, they're also on the back end of it saying a lot of the evidence that is being presented is not legitimate and cannot be used as evidence to present a case that this can be moved forward with a probable cause in trial. So everybody's kind of using it. The side that doesn't believe the official narrative is saying, see, they're saying there's lack of evidence. It's true. It doesn't exist. And then the official narrative believers are saying, see, Tyler Robinson's defense admitted he did it. It's over. Both sides are kind of wrong in that instance. Let's wait and see. This is going to trial. Unless Robinson doesn't make it, this is going to trial. And that's what I'm more curious to see. If they can convince a jury that the official narrative, or at least Tyler Robinson did it, then that'll be on them. I will say Tyler Robinson's defense has not been impressive. I think
Do you think we'll ever get to hear from Tyler Robinson himself? Is there ever a time?
Well, they're not going to let him talk. They're not going to let him talk.
Even after the trial?
Yeah, I don't think you're ever going to hear from Tyler Robinson. No.
Wow, that's a bummer.
Yeah, I'd be shocked if you heard anything from him.
Great job, Owen. You're doing amazing. I am a convert from Tim Pool. Tim Pool sucked, and I turned to you, and you have been amazing. Please keep going and keep doing what you're doing.
Spread the good word.
I do, every day.
We need more converts out there.
Yep, I'm your number one.
I love it.
Thanks,
Thank
Owen.
you. Thank you for the call. All right, guys, we're going to take our final break. You know, we got the callers. They're still lighting up. We got the super chats. We need to read those. I got a couple other news stories, not much. We got probably about 30, 35 minutes left of the show. I got to jump a little early. I got to do an interview with Ben Swan. I wanted to make sure I gave Ben Swan the time, and he had to do it at a specific time. So we got a little bit more for you today. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back after this break.
You're listening to the Owen Report on the Win Network.
political light years ahead of the rest. It's the Owen Report with Owen Schroyer.
Now that's funny. Somebody just said in the chat, I actually should take your advice. Owen just went and stuck his head in the freezer. I know I didn't, but I like the idea. In fact, I've got these like ice pack things that I put on my my legs. You freeze these things, and it's ice packs for your legs. Maybe I need to go put those on. Maybe I need to just start freezing towels. And I'm talking to the AC company. Oh, well, maybe we can get out there tomorrow. I'm like, you need to get out here now. All right? I'm dying in here. I'm going to melt. Can you see me melting? It's hot in this garage. All right, guys. Final hour here. It's going to cut a little short. I'm going on with Ben Swan tonight. I wanted to make sure I gave Ben the time. And he had a tight schedule, so I said, all right, well, you know what? We'll just end the Owen Report just a tad early to make it work with Ben. So, what in the heck? You know what? This is crazy, guys. Look at this. I'm telling you, guys. Your phones are listening to you, okay? Your phones are listening to you. I just got this. It just popped up on X. Can you guys see this? I'm going to put this on screen. This just popped up on X. You can't see that. It's a video post about air conditioning. Look at this. Look at this. I start talking about air conditioning posts start popping up on my feed. How you like that? How you like that in real time? Okay, let's keep going with the calls, shall we? The calls have been great. I do have a couple other stories. It's getting weird. This Muslim thing. It's like they really are starting to take over the culture. They really are starting to take over politics and infrastructure. It's crazy, this latest story we have here. But let's stick with the phone lines for a little bit more. Lines are open 747-255-60. Next caller, what's your name? Where are you from?
Oh, Rusty here in Conroe. Just left Austin about a year ago.
Okay. Well, how do you feel about that? You feel good about that?
A little slower pace of life. It's getting a little crowded over there.
Yeah, something like that. It's starting to look like a Punjab over here.
Well, hey, I didn't say that. Hey, I crashed out for the first time today. I like it. I'm an energy drink, connoisseur, and for those of you that say it doesn't taste good, you just mix your own sugar in there. But I like being able to control the dosage.
I say that if you don't like the bitter taste of pomegranate or just any organic supplement like that, mix it with juice. Whatever your favorite juice is, you like orange juice, whatever, pineapple juice, mix it with a juice and that'll bring out the flavor.
Agreed. Wanted to just kind of touch on something I haven't heard you really say much about. I know you're not like the biggest gun guy, but since they're located right there in Austin, Silencer Shop, they're making some big progress with the NFA. I don't know if you heard much about this. It's really kind of happened over yesterday, and more they've announced on it today. With suppressors and SBRs.
I haven't. Let me look this up right now. You know what's amazing about that? We have Central Texas Gunworks here with Michael Cargill, who is an amazing American patriot, Second Amendment activist. He won at the Supreme Court on bump stocks and some other issues. He beat the Trump administration. Michael Cargill, based in Austin, Central Texas Gunworks, based in Austin. And now you're telling me that Silencer Shop, based in Austin, is, I guess technically they're based in Liberty Hill, but they do all kinds of work here in Austin. They sponsor the local hockey team. So you're saying that they're making big moves right now too?
They're part of they're kind of one of the more, I believe it's commercial plaintiffs might be the right term, in a lawsuit, whatever you want to call it, with the federal government over the Second Amendment infringements. And I believe it was the Supreme Court just struck down that the tax associated with suppressors and SBRs is unconstitutional. They've been posting about it on their Instagram. You can go check that out. But they just posted today that they are going to start shipping suppressors, I believe, today at midnight, or technically tomorrow, without paying the staff, encouraging, or I don't know, look it up. I'm not saying the right way, but basically they're not going to obey. They're going to disobey. There we go. They're not going to do these tax stamps anymore. And I guess we'll see where this goes.
It does look like you said their Instagram account.
Yeah.
It looks like that might be the best source right now. There's very little out there as far as news. I did find this story from USA Carry. Gun Owners of America, I'm assuming that's what, GOA is, tells Attorney General that Silencer Shop will hand Brandon Herrera and Wes Verdell suppressors with no Form 4 and no registry entry. So they're basically giving the government a middle finger saying, we have a Second Amendment right. Get off our back.
Mm-hmm.
How about that? You left Austin, but, we're still making moves here, buddy. I get it, though. You wanted to slow down. You wanted to get to the country.
Well, with the housing market doing the way it's doing, I could probably afford to go back there and buy a house.
Brother. Well, the problem is your interest rates are through the roof, but yeah, the houses are coming down fast. Hey, let me know if you need a house. I'll sell you mine. You can have mine.
Sounds good, man.
You can just have it, actually. You want it? You can just have it.
Just have it? Well,
just have the house.
Not with the AC. Is the AC going to be working or not?
I don't know. We'll get the AC fixed for you. We'll have the AC up and running by the time you're taking over. All right?
All right, man. Enjoy.
Thank you for the call. How about that? Austin, Texas. Austin, Texas, proud, man. I'm proud of my city. You know what? I love my city. I love Austin, Texas. Say what you want. Our own Michael Cargill won for the Second Amendment, and now you got Silencer Shop winning for the Second Amendment. All this coming out of Austin, plus the best show on the internet, the Owen Report for Politics, based in Austin. Maybe we struggle with AC at times, but hey, we got everything else going our way. Next caller, what's your name? Where you're from?
Hey, Owen, this is Christian from Kansas. I wanted to call in, and I have some firsthand experience with the brain virus. I call it maganesia because they have selective memory loss. And I have these conversations on the daily with my mother and father-in-law, and you bring up facts with these people, and they just, no matter how many facts, no matter how many times you bring it up, they just have selective memory loss when it comes down to all of it.
Doesn't that sound familiar?
As in?
Doesn't that sound like debating, liberal?
Right. No, it's exactly the same. And
you know what? Let me just take it. Let me take it a step further here, just for for full clarification. I saw an interview Breaking Points did with Jon Stewart, and it was a little frustrating because you can tell both sides are just kind of like, all right, let's just go along to get along. But it was kind of refreshing in the sense that it's like, all right, you know what? I'm not going to sit here and do this. I don't want to sit here and do this game with liberals anymore like that, because there are liberals now that are a lot more reasonable even than conservatives. There's a lot of people on the left, the center, liberals that are way more reasonable and fair than conservatives are, and it's all kind of based off of where you're at with Trump. So it used to be the anti-Trump libs were like the worst people in politics. Now it's the pro-Trump conservatives that are the worst people in politics. So I'm a little more like, I don't even like really bashing the libs right now. I don't really like doing that because they really have no political agency or power, especially at a national level. And they're not the ones that are sitting here in denial of basic facts. That's MAGA now. That's Trump supporters now. They're the ones that are completely unreasonable when it comes to just facts and news. It's not the left now.
Right. But I mean, I would hesitate on giving any support for Democrats because, I mean, they're kind of kind of building a Trojan horse right now, saying, "Oh, well, they don't like Israel for the same reasons that we do. They think that they're white colonialists." And I mean, they say it themselves. They say, "Oh, that's woke one. That was transgenderism back in the day." And I feel like they're kind of Trojan horsing. But right now, yes, I agree that they are being more reasonable than MAGA.
I don't even think it's close. I don't even think it's close. Because I'm listening to Jon Stewart. He's definitely a liberal. And it's just like the things that he's saying are just true. They're just true. And I know for a fact, if he was sitting there talking with some MAGA person and saying these things, they'd be sitting there freaking out, pulling their hair out, going into conniption fits. And it's just like, well, it's true, guys. It doesn't mean I support leftist policy. It doesn't mean I'm voting Democrats. It doesn't mean I'm, philosophically, politically a liberal or a progressive here. But it's just like, I can have a fair conversation. I can look at things from a neutral standpoint. And the people that still support Trump simply can't. They are unable to see things this way. And it's really, it's kind of becoming the story of this administration in a way. Thank you for the call. Next caller, what's your name? Where are you from?
David, I'm from Memphis.
All right, David, go ahead.
Kind of on that, it's a good follow-up to that guy. I'm reading on Twitter today, Insurrection Barbie and some of those type of folks. It's time once again for the, hey guys, you got to vote for the lesser of two evils. And I said, Owen, Lord Cornwallis back in the Revolutionary War was a soldier. We didn't like him for that reason, but he was doing his job. Benedict Arnold, we got a real problem with. He's supposed to be on our side. I have a bigger problem with him than I do Cornwallis and any British general. That's the problem. Those guys are doing their job. The Democrats out there, we know they're wacko. We know they're crazy, but they're doing their job. I got GOP members, MAGA members, defending the United States taking 10% ownership in a private company. I got them defending restating history and acting like the PPP loans and the COVID checks went out under Biden. Those started in 2020. I'm a CPA. I can tell you for a fact they did. So I'm like, guys, these are facts, and you're exactly right. You bring up a fact to a MAGA person, it is like, it's worse than a cross to a vampire. It is unbelievable. I'm like, it's okay to tell the truth. It's okay. You can. You don't have to defend them blindly. And you're always talking about the cheerleading. That's all it is. It's Bloods and Crips. That's all it is right now. Down to the red and the blue. That's all it is gang warfare, just team sport. That's all it is. And I'm 56 years old. I'm tired of it. They can call me whatever they want. I'm sitting out. I won't vote them, but I'm not going to vote. And people say, oh, well, cue the patriotic music in the background, and, I'm really letting the country down. I have a right not to vote, just as much as I have a right to vote. I have a right to not go vote, and I'm going to exercise it.
Well, and why? Why should you be in a hostage negotiation that says, hey, vote for me or Democrats will take over? Like, since when is the American voter a freaking hostage? It's like, if the Republicans, why should I sit here? If the Republicans won our vote, they should have to earn it. They shouldn't just have to be able to say, hey, I'm not a Democrat, vote for me. No, you should be able to earn our vote. And really, to me, this is the admission that the Trump administration is a failure. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. This and all these accounts that you spoke of, I've mostly muted all of them just because I don't want to give them any impressions or see them on my timeline anymore. But it's like, this is the admission now. They can't tell you to vote for Republicans because of the mass deportations. They can't tell you to vote for Republicans because the cost of living is down. They can't tell you to vote for vote for Republicans because there's no new wars. Like, all of the actual policies, all of the actual things that are supposed to be happening are not happening. So they've now reached this point, and you mentioned a couple accounts. I mean, these are the most diehard MAGA propagandists out there. And this is where they're at now. Now they're at, with 80 days till the midterm, saying, hey, guys, we just got to come out and vote for Republicans anyway. I know that they all lied and nothing is getting done, but we just got to vote for Republicans anyway. This shows you it's over. It's over. They are one or two steps away from admitting this thing is a disaster. If that's where they're at in August of 2026 before the midterms of, hey, vote for Republicans, they're not Democrats, it's cooked. It's cooked. And it's only going one direction.
I mean, tell me, am I wrong? I mean, I'm sitting there, I'm like, hey, I don't want to be like this. I've been voting Republicans since 1988 when I turned 18 and voted for Ronald Reagan. But, man, come on. I mean, I bought into the I bought into to the Iraq War, and I've bought the line all these years. But when the Epstein file case, so we're just talking about him, and then we go to war with Iran, and I'm like, what the hell are we doing? This makes no sense. I'm driving down a road full of potholes. I got homeless guys on every corner here in Memphis. I mean, people can say whatever jokes they want to about Memphis. It's an American city. I care more about people in Paducah, Kentucky, and Sykes, Missouri, than I do in Tel Aviv or Kiev. I'm sorry. That's just me at 56. If that makes me a bad guy, it makes me a bad guy. I care more about Americans. And that's the line, too, is like America first. I said, no, Americans first, because if you say America first, you can define it any way you want to. Stock market, you can say that America's doing great because of we're dropping bombs on people. I'm talking about, I care about for the citizen. And like I say, it doesn't matter where it is. I care about the citizen. And right now, the citizen's getting screwed and told to shut up and sit in the corner and just, be quiet and take it. Keep a step up or lip. And I'm just past that, man. I'm sorry.
Well, look, you're not alone. You're nowhere near alone. In fact, you're in the vast majority of people, but the problem is the propaganda media, which now mostly serves the right wing and Trump, they want you to think you're alone. They want you to think you're isolated. They want you to think that, you're crazy. None of these things are true. You're in the vast majority. You're not crazy. Most people feel the same way you feel. And, that's kind of what this show represents in a way, is you don't have to feel isolated out there in the political media. You don't have to feel isolated. You don't have to feel alone. And you don't have to turn around and look at all these sycophants worshiping politicians and lying for the administration. That's not cool. That's not popular. Nobody likes that. That's all propaganda. It's a giant psyop. Most people feel and think the way you do. You're not crazy. You're not alone. We're in the majority. And it's all a psyop to get you to bow out. That's what it is. It's like, oh, no, just vote Republican. No, we're not going to just vote for Republicans because they're not Democrats. Sorry. You want our vote, you have to earn it. And if you want to bitch and complain about Democrats getting in power, then start doing something to earn our vote. It's that simple. And if you don't want to do what it takes to earn our vote, then you're traitors, you're liars, and I don't want you in power anyway. It's that simple. That's it. That's all. All right. Let's go to our super chats, guys, before we sign off today. Actually, let me hit these other news stories. We were talking about this in Texas. What in the hell is going on here? The Dallas airport is now installing dedicated Islamic voodoo foot washing stations inside bathrooms. What? Natalie Winter shares the document here. Voodoo ablution stations in the Dallas airport. What? What? We need to build Muslim voodoo, Indian voodoo foot washing stations now? What even is that? Who washes their feet at the airport anyway? What in the hell is going on? Massachusetts bill plans Muslim commission to boost inclusion. Massachusetts is now making it a policy, a priority to make sure more Muslims are involved in government and elected to public office. Okay. Now, you're welcome to the Middle East, guys. How does it feel to be in the Middle East? All by design to collapse our country, by the way. All by design to collapse our country and scrap it for parts. And that's exactly what the Trump administration is doing. All right, into the super chats before we sign off today. Ken Rose, thank you. Dust Vault, F Fox News, John Roberts, he's a coward. You tell Vax story now that damage is already done. Damn you. You could have saved people. Disgusting coward. Was he talking about, was that the one about his wife or daughter or something? I caught a blip of that. Yeah, they're all cowards. And, it's like, that's what I say. It's so frustrating. It's like we're 5 years ahead of all these people, 6 years ahead of all these people. If you listen to Fox News, you're so far behind. It's just like, I don't even know how to say it anymore. So just understand, the stuff that I talk about on this show will be mainstream news in 5 years. And the frustration is that window of time where things need to result in policy and results, the window of time closes, and then by the time they talk about it on Fox News, it's too late. Yeah, they were cowards. And they bullied people into forcing them to get this vaccine. And many people declined. Many people made a legal case out of it. But that's what they did. Why would you trust some guy on a television news station who won't even tell you the truth about the biggest story in the world, and he knows it, and he's sitting in front of the camera behind the microphone, and he won't even tell you the biggest news story in the world that he knows about? And then by the time it's too late, now he'll tell you. By the time it's inconsequential, now he'll tell you. Bunch of cowards in the media, man. Bunch of frauds and cowards. And now you get a little bit of an obvious, overwhelming taste of it. Not a hint of it. Oh, yeah, I knew the vaccines were bad. Oh, yeah, I knew Fauci was bad. Oh, yeah, I knew the lockdowns were bad. Well, why didn't you say anything then? Because you're cowards and frauds. Don't tell people about the lips that go boom, that we're doing mass administration pardons instead of mass deportations. The joke's on us. That's definitely happening. In 5 years, they'll all talk about how Israel ran the Trump administration. Just wait, 5 years. It'll be 2030, and it'll be mainstream news how Trump was working for the Zionists in Israel the entire time. Like, wow, who could have seen it coming? Nobody knew. Karoline Leavitt should model for Lululemon. Wouldn't that be against the Maha Code, though? Put your clown shoes back on, Brett Cooper. Oh, my. Dr. Phil Schroyer. Boomers will be like, why are kids inside on their phones? Also, boomers, stop playing in the park. I'm calling the police. First Owen Schroyer Soccer League night tonight. Hopefully the kids will be allowed to play. Maybe we'll get a little content for you, too. We'll see. My guys will be up there. My group of guys will be up there. We actually might need the entire field. My plan was our guys would take like half the field, and then we'd give the other half to the kids that want to come play. But my guys now, we might be so big, we might need the whole field. So we'll see what happens tonight. I'm telling you, if I ever do this story or if I ever put out these videos and stuff of all the stuff that went down, just trying to play soccer at a public park, it's going to be it's a stupid little side mission, but it's local politics. I really do feel for these kids. And so that's what motivated me to do this. And tonight's kind of the first test. Tonight's kind of the first test for that. So we'll see what happens. I'll give you an update. Looking forward to it. Maybe we'll have a little sneak peek tonight. Boomers are the problem. Only 17% of Congress is millennials and Zoomers. The rest are boomers and boomer lights. The boomers are getting a lot of heat right now. And I've been a part of that. I won't deny that. I won't hide from that. I'm starting to feel like I need to go into boomer defense mode, though. Because I see the boomers coming to our side. I feel that the boomers will eventually be one of us. And we need the boomers, actually. Really, if you turn the boomers, then it's over for Trump. I mean, good God. It's over for the neocons. It's over for the foreign lobby. And it's over for the fake Trump hype. If we turn the boomers and bring them on with us, as we've done before, we take over the entire political network again. So I'm ready to switch. We've been hard on the boomers. I'm ready to go into boomer defense. I'm ready to go into boomer open arms. We love you. We need you. There's still time for you to help us save this country and leave us with a better country. And I believe that's what they want. I'm ready to ingratiate the boomers. I think we've had enough generational warfare. I think we've explained the gaps, the differences, But I'm ready. I'm ready for the boomers. I'm ready for the boomers to join our new coalition. I'm ready for the boomers to get on board with our vision for leadership. So I think they're getting ready too. I think they're feeling it. I think they like it, actually. Remember, they didn't like Trump at first. The boomers were Jeb Bush. The boomers were Ted Cruz. We got them on Trump. So we can do this again. Wooded Bagley. My mother worked her entire adult life as a registered nurse at a nursing home, and even she is shocked by the sheer number of geriatric ball sacks Karoline Leavitt has seen the last year and a half. All right. You know what? I can't. I'm not even going to respond. You got it. You nailed it. If you're going to get brought down, might as well have fun. We're always going to have fun. Beef recalled to the bunkers. Thanks, Trump. Thanks for that screwed up beef deal that screwed our farmers because Israel wanted you to do it for Israel. Israel wanted you to do it for Argentina. Thanks a lot, Trump. Now they recalled most of that beef. Trump 2028, my precious. Exactly. But see, that's exactly what it is, guys. Trump knows as soon as he's not president anymore, most people are going to stop caring about him. It's true. It's just true. The day Trump leaves the White House is the day the vast majority of people stop talking about him, stop writing stories about him, stop obsessing over him. I think that scares him the most of all things. Trump not being the most relevant story every day, Trump not being on camera every day, Trump not having the whole world revolve around him every day. That is his biggest fear. I believe he fears that more than death. I believe Trump fears that more than hell. Trump fears not being the number one story every day more than anything else. And you can see that ego driving him. It is like the precious for him. It's like, what is Trump going to do if he's not in the White House with cameras around him 24/7? What is he going to do? I do think that's a good analogy. Trump is delusional, out of control. Anna, 33 Freemasons, always about mocking Jesus because Jesus at 33, is that what that is? It's always 33. It's always true. Can you have Jay Dyer on to talk about Freemasons? Yeah, sure. I got no problem with that. I'm sure he has a better presentation on that issue than I do. I don't mind Trump getting his beak wet. I don't know if it was his beak. Hey, good for him. Good for him. Ebu Backs, if Trump can't just come out and admit he got some side tail, the real lies are much darker and deeper. Preaching to the choir, I know. Yeah. But you get it. You get what it means, what it represents. It's not about Trump maybe hooking up with somebody. That's not what it is. It's about they will lie to the entire world, and these lies could even result in policy decisions. That's the problem. And they'll do it all for Trump. Not for country. Not for country, for Trump, who thinks he's the country. That's how Trump looks at it. Needed reps back in the day because the people couldn't vote on laws directly. No internet. That is why capitals are usually in the middle of states and counties. Why can't we have direct democracy where the people vote directly? You know, this is going to become a debate in the very near future. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if this becomes a part of the third-party platform to a certain degree. Not a major issue, not something that they're looking to, bring about in the near future, but to discuss and think about the good or the bad that comes with it. And this could be something that even draws Elon Musk in to a third party, because I feel like that's something Elon Musk actually really supports. So I don't know, maybe you make deals and you say, hey, look, we'll talk about this. We'll platform this. We're not going to commit to anything, but we're okay platforming the idea. And if you want to bankroll this third party and bring that idea onto the platform, then we can make that happen. I could see that. I could see that going down. Andy Guam. Owen, would you consider starting an HOA and taking applications via internet? I don't know what that means. Starting an HOA for what? Applications for what? Am I missing it? Am I missing a joke here? I don't know. It was the Fifth Circuit that ruled on the side of silencer shop, not the Supreme Court. So they are testing things out. I think the DOJ haven't appealed it yet. Well, let's hope they don't appeal it. It was Michael Cargill that won at the Supreme Court on the bump stocks. So if I mentioned the Supreme Court, that's what I was talking about. I just heard about the Silencer Shop story today. Good for Silencer Shop. Makes me want to support their business, actually. Who is amazed? Strange how when I call to discuss the active duty sentiment, his system shuts down while he had AC. Now his AC is hacked in the show, never went online. When did we make that call? You think somebody hacked my AC? You know what's funny about it? I got this AC installed not too long ago. Might have been like 2020, 2021. It's really, it's pretty new. For AC units, it's pretty new. And I had to get one of these digital interfaces, and I tried to avoid it at all costs. And they were like, look, here's the deal. If you want to get a new AC unit, you have to get this digital face. It is what it is. But you don't have to connect it to the internet, because that was my big fear, is that, well, you connect this to the internet, you connect it to the apps and all of this stuff, it becomes hackable. And he said, well, you don't have to do that. You can still just operate it, manually at your house with the unit, and you don't have to connect it to the internet, but it still has the capability to connect to the internet, even if I haven't done that. So I suppose you could argue that it has been hacked, but I don't know. I just know I'm sweating. That's all I know. If we lose the midterms, it's because you liked Troy. You mean because I liked The Odyssey? I don't know. Do I need to go see it again? Veteran for life. You ask why they need foot washing stations, because otherwise the Muslims use the sinks for their feet. I got to say, I've never seen that. Is that becoming an issue? Maybe. Is that why? Good Lord. Good God. F the government. F the government. All of it. So how about that? That's staying consistent. That is knowing your role. That is knowing your role and sticking to it. F the government says F the government. That's it. That's it. That's all you got to do is stay on message here. All right, a couple more things. I said we got to sign off a little early today. I'm set to record with Ben Swan here in about 10 minutes. Guys, this is crazy. This is like Twilight Zone level stuff. Former Syrian President Assad sentenced to death in absentia for war crimes. Now, Assad is basically hiding out in Russia right now. So I don't know if this is really going to metastasize to anything. I don't think Putin is going to send him away to his death. But what's crazy about this is, so Assad is sentenced to war crimes, not Netanyahu. And then the guy that has taken over Syria is a former Al-Qaeda leader who, by the way, gets invites to the White House. What? Guys, this is what I'm saying. It's like, to the people that still believe in the foreign policy, do you realize how corrupt it is? Like, this is the ultimate thing. You can think whatever you want about Assad. Okay? Assad is the one sentenced to death for war crimes, not Netanyahu. And the guy who's running Syria now is the Al-Qaeda leader who was once a most wanted FBI criminal for terrorism. Now he runs Syria, and he's ingratiated by the White House, and he's ingratiated into foreign policy with Israel. But Assad is the one sentenced to death. And now we accept Al-Qaeda's leader as the leader of Syria and friends of Trump. Guys, the whole foreign policy is corrupt. Like this is like, it's the most obvious thing at this point. How can you deny it? All right, a funny moment here. I want to give Marco Rubio some credit here. I'm no fan of Rubio, and I would never vote for him. But Katie Miller is doing these podcasts. This is kind of funny. I think this is Rubio's wife, I'm assuming that. So Rubio is on the Katie Miller podcast. What do you think Marco Rubio's favorite food is, according to his wife? Listen to this.
Adopted RFK's diet of red meat
No,
and
this is a
fermented
crazy
vegetables.
diet. This is a diet that consists of eating sauerkraut and meat. Now, you understand, like, this is not a sustainable thing. Like, you can't just walk into it.
Well, he sustains it because he
can
does
you
it.
imagine? But he has to travel with coolers of sauerkraut. I'm not going to travel the world with a cooler full of sauerkraut. It's ridiculous. I can't do it. It's not sustainable.
Are you Maha?
I'm in favor of Maha. Like, I think people should be healthy.
No, he is not.
But I think ultimately at
He
the
is
end.
completely not. What's he eat? Pop-Tarts.
No, I don't eat Pop-Tarts every day.
Okay, you eat sweets.
The Pop-Tart is one of the great American innovations in history of the world. If you think about it, it comes in this
He
beautiful
eats
foil
all
package.
the things you should not be eating.
You know, Rubio might be onto something here. Now, I don't eat Pop-Tarts. I couldn't tell you the last time I ate a Pop-Tart. But, you know, the Pop-Tart is one of the great food innovations. Have you ever seen the Brian Regan Pop-Tart skit? If you haven't seen it, it's one of the all-time great comedy bits of all time. Brian Regan, How to Eat a Pop-Tart. It's truly one of the all-time greats. And if you like Brian Regan, you know he's just one of the best of all time. And that's a good one. So Marco Rubio, Pop-Tart nationalism. Well, I'm sorry, little Marco, but it was a fun little segment there, and fun time with your wife and Katie Miller. Everybody's got a podcast now. But I'm sorry, the Pop-Tart nationalism is not enough for me to go vote for Marco Rubio. Sorry, never going to happen. And I don't think it's winning anybody else over either. But you know what? You know, Pop-Tart, they do the Pop-Tart Bowl. Is it the Pop-Tart Bowl? I think Pop-Tart sponsors one of these bowl games, and they do this bit at, I think it's at halftime, or maybe it's after the game is over, and they have this Pop-Tart mascot, and he hops into this giant toaster, and they toast him, and then he pops out on the other side like a toasted Pop-Tart. You know what? I'm getting into this Pop-Tart now. Are there any, like, healthy alternatives for Pop-Tarts? You know, they kind of over the years started to develop healthy alternatives for, like, the cereal that's got just like a sugar bomb. Is there a healthy alternative for a Pop-Tart? Are we tapping into something here? Do we need to fundraise and get on Shark Tank and pitch a healthy alternative to the Pop-Tart? What do we call the Pop-Tart? You say to Donald Trump, Trump, did you hear about the Pop-Tart? Why would you talk about Natalie Harp like that? It's very rude. Sir. A healthy alternative to Pop-Tarts. That could be $1 million ID right there. I do this for free. I don't know. I do this for free. I give $1 million ideas out on this show for free. I give $1 million political advice out on this show for free. One of the most charitable people in the media, really. You know, I don't know. We do this stuff for free. All right, we sign off for today. And maybe we got some stuff for you later tonight on X. Stay tuned on X. I want to thank everybody for tuning in on YouTube, helping us grow the YouTube channel. Folks, that's huge. That's huge for us. Please continue to support the YouTube channel, The Owen Report on YouTube. Thank you so much for the super chats. We take a 20-hour break. We'll do it all again tomorrow. 21-hour break, actually. 21-hour break today. I'll let you know when the Ben Swan interview drops. Brendan Strock interview drops Monday. That's it for me. God bless. Godspeed. Got the cameras overheating. Look at this. My other camera's overheating. Where's my AC? Damn it.